round regardless.
That was the play from the start, the double lurk B. Valen walking in for free after all that A utility was made. And now, yeah, you have to retake with one Sheriff, one Phantom. I mean, Prize is just going to hold on to this one for the next round. And even a Paradoia still in play. Oh, I mean, just clean work from G2. Great job manipulating.
Just not letting it get out, are they?
Look at all the utility. I mean,
it will get down to the spike, though, in the end here. This is G2. One more round away from making it nice and even, 10-10 on this map. A scenario that we really didn't expect.
Not at all.
To be honest.
Not at all.
Credit for Fury for getting it to this point, but as we've been mentioning, the hardest part is closing it out.
Oftentimes the difference maker from what makes a good team a great team. Can you actually close out maps when you have advantage? They still have it here. And Ultimate's coming back online for Furia. You have that Breach ultimate, you have Clove ultimate. The problem is I mean, Heat's here on an island at sea, and there's a lot of members of G2 that are going to give him a problem.
And waiting for the time that G2 will just disrespect it. Smoke drop down. They're still worried about the potential of a trap play, for good reason. This time, though, Havoc is purely disrespecting. Jump spot baits out a few of these shots. They want to take it one step further. It's a risky gambit to try and overfight.
So good utility used to re-clear that close angle as well. And last time around when util was used like this from G2, Furia gave all of that A space like they are now. But everything rides on Prize right now.
They're narrowly missing this one. That's it. Up close and personal with the Prowler. Snake bite, ricocheting back and around here. The Seas is a good connection, so Leaf's going to be dropped and tucked here. And Heat, going walkabouts, him and Rafa, making sure that they can vacuum and take back up control. Door open wide, and Leaf accounted for. Still, appropriate response there. Valen was eager to try and see if he could get that trade online, but just calling for that full rotation. Trent has been lurking all the while. Door still patched up. No open avenue on towards the blue room with the door open wide, though. Tucks close quarters. Khalil will try and make the most of it. Jorgamo just disrespecting him, running them down, shorty in hand. It's an Armageddon in through the back of the site. That will give them that peace of mind. Rolling Thunder use right back at it, but it's just delayed in terms of the timing. It doesn't deny the plant at all. G2 still into the post with this one. It's up to Fury to see if they can put the squeeze on. They've got a lot of positions accounted for. Rafa's alone up through heaven. These flanking players have got to do the work here. Layers down the fault line to try and help them out. Catching these players, but still not catching it close to the corner. No swings in sight. Trent still locking it down. It's a beautiful angle. Crosshair placements there. Bit of spam in order. Not dead yet. Right back into it, but dominating the angles into these smokes. Valen in control of the round. 10-10.
Valen definitely in control, closing that post plan out, but it was Jogamo with that ridiculous shot with the shorty in the smoke. I mean, how does he always get value doing these things while he's jumping around the map? It's ridiculous. Look at this.
Wow.
There's no reason he should be winning that. He's just him. Busting open the site. And now, it's an even game. A fight towards this A site. Money is terrible from the side of Furia. All G2 have to do is wait out this utility. Go second. They'll have full advantage.
Second wave of it. Never go with a refight. Off wide to the side. That's Trent over the top as well. Happy to plug Khalil straight out the picture. Havoc matters into his own hands, but he's being swung right from the side there. G2 not giving up this space so easily. The difficulty with it, as you mentioned at the beginning, just scraps to work with on the side of Furia.
And even the little things, right? Like Jonah P grabbing that orb, getting one step closer to that Breach ultimate for the next gun round. No tides left unchecked. So patient with it. There's not much you can do right now from the side of Furia. Yeah, these smokes help you get closer. Maybe that Bucky and Stinger can get a little bit more value now. But the firepower from the side of G2, they could just spray through these smokes if they wish.
They got salvos, they got a stun. Rafa's gonna be able to get half of these, but he's slow to a crawl and obliterated. Trying to make it just that much more winnable. Heat's left to do it all again with just nothing to work with. Just straight shots fired off. This is G2 taking the lead.
Oh my gosh. It was a long time coming, but they finally did it, huh?
Yeah.
And the way they went about it, just full composure, not letting things slip away, still playing that reactive style, still manipulating the rotations, baiting out utility this entire half. And that opens up a lot of opportunities now to get this map win for G2. I mean, if they haven't really held the W key once off the start, I mean, if they ever decide to change the pace, you imagine Furia would not be ready for that.
Yeah. Slow and steady, that cautious, disciplined style that G2 opt into. Flash again, it's dodged in time. I have a bit crosshair placement. When he's trying to dodge and juke all those flashes coming his way, it's not going to be set steady. Still, containing Leaf, this guy has been a bit of a menace. So it evens it up. Nice 4v4.
And the map is now a little bit smaller for the side of G2. That's why you see Jogamo here trying to compensate, trying to get some of that space back. Otherwise, it's just too obvious where you're going to be ending up here. There was a jump spot I saw on the mini-map as well from the side of Prize. Seeing 3 members. Yeah. Will it matter?
That's a lot of pressure. I mean, Prize just whiffs the seas as a result of it. Door open wide. That's Heat seeking to relieve that pressure. But it's been turned straight back at him. B main. Open for the taking. Khalil a timing to be taken, but Valen is already on top of it. Every option accounted for. 2v3, Prize to be that playmaker, steps up to the side, but Jonah P almost on ice skates with the way that he's moving like that.
That's a ridiculous 1v1 to win, Brad. And there was an Omen TP towards the A site. The spike is planted. I mean, Rafa, he has no idea where these members are. There was a guy that just got taken out at C for him.
Yeah. Since it got to the second half, I mean, G2 have been complete control. Rafa's got to do a lot. First obstacle removed, 2 more remaining. There's a clone in your face as well, blinds it up. He's got to know the rough positioning, but Jogamo could be anywhere. Narrowly spotted out, just baiting these shots out, and guess what? Shorty in hand. Okay, he's getting funny with it, getting funky with it, but he's bought time. And that's a true win con. Already that circle shrinking. They know it. G2 up to map point.
Just amazing play from Valen this entire half. I mean, stepping up huge when his team needed him to start the comeback in the first place. But these trades, the shots that he hit, the reactionary play, understanding that somebody's stunned in that moment, taking full advantage. Omen TPing towards that A site, making it impossible for Rafa to play a 1v3.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a masterclass right now in this attacking half of G2. And they really haven't had to show much depth other than, okay, I'm gonna wait for Furia to show their hand.
It's been all macro,
and
man.
Go next.
Yeah, it's been just the push and pull, and this time Havoc, caution to the wind, tries to take these fights straight up, but stunned up in the process. There is a follow-up, deep push out through B main. It's all contained or handled, but it does still leave it to that 2v2. Jogamo ults online, picks up the spike. The safety there with it. Gate crash all the way in and through and clears that corner. Heat has been spotted. Target acquired. Out into the open. 31 health here for Jogamo. Snake might drop down at your feet as well. There's uncertainty in the air. Leaf lands that shot. With Heat plucked out of the picture, it almost feels inevitable.
And yeah, it's up to Khalil in this 1v2. We've seen him do it before. He used to be Furia's shining star, getting tons of clutches on this controller role. But it's just going to be so difficult with this doubled up approach from the side of G2. Their post plants have been something that they have been drilling for years.
Time ticking. Pressure's on for Khalil. They've made all the noise in the world, and the time to strike is nigh. Wonderful effort by Fury, but at the end of the day, when you're going up against the Bangkok finalists, it takes a bit more to get it over the line in that fashion. Still more of the series yet to be played, of course, but a very winnable map for Fury. They just couldn't quite do it against G2.
I mean, they only won 1 round on their defensive side. They just got completely out-macroed, and we're going to be going into Ascent, but after losing like that, you imagine your spirits are beat down a little bit because it felt like you were right there.
All the confidence they had right at the beginning just petered away out of the existence, really.
But we do have to highlight, I mean, some very good things that we've seen from the side of Furia, especially on that attacking side. I mean, they really set the tone. Yeah. And I'm excited to see what they cook in the future.
There have been improvements for this Furia squad. They've definitely been cooking in the time off here, and there's still plenty more action left to come. We're going to be stepping away. When we come back, Ascent is going to be on the cards.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Test 1, 2, test 1, 2. Eh bien alors bonsoir à tous, j'ose espérer que vous allez bien, parce que nous ici ça va super. On vient de démarrer, désolé on vient de démarrer un peu en retard, mais ça va, on est de retour pour la première semaine, le jour 2 des VCT. Aujourd'hui on a eu G2 et Furia, on a démarré en milieu de game, mais de ce qu'on a eu à voir, G2 a eu à se rattraper, malgré que Furia menait en début de partie. Ils ont fait une remontée de malade et ils ont win la première map. Maintenant, nous allons passer à la seconde map et sans oublier mon co-présentateur, le Turc Blake.
Disadvantages like your team to make sure that you're able to recover this way.
Ok, là on est good, là on est
I
good.
mean, I didn't expect them to come out punching like
On
that.
va ça bien.
and I'm
Ok,
glad we got
nice,
this early in
nice,
the
nice.
Bien
series.
reçu 5 sur 5.
It's just about
Nice.
keeping poise, confidence, and just relying on the fundamentals.
Bon, là c'est la
We were
mi-temps
making a lot
avant,
of mental errors,
avant le
I would
prochain
say, in the
match.
first
Ça
8
c'est le
rounds.
coach à
It's just
G2.
making sure, like,
Mais
we're
là quand
sharp.
même on va dire que le
So
coach a carré, hein.
it's nothing
On ne
like
sait pas
without
trop ce
some
qu'il a dit
pressure
aux
that
gars,
really
mais
brings
bon,
the
vu
boys
qu'ils
to
ont fait une
focus and
remontée,
start
ils ont
really
win,
playing the game.
c'est que le coach a carré.
Il a grondé.
Yeah, and that is a second map of
Vous
Ascent
me
that we haven't
remontez
seen in a
ça.
long time.
Ou je
Everybody's
prends
seeing
gra-
Waylay on Ascent. Is there any chance that we're gonna see that?
You're going to see Waylay.
Actually, okay, that's a promise. I hope it's real. Okay, but we'll figure it out. Let's see.
Okay, the Waylay is hype, but we're going to talk about that in a second. I want to talk about the first 8 rounds that Josh was mentioning there, because it kind of is crazy how quickly a half can slip away when you're losing critical buy rounds, critical string rounds. And I'm going to look at 3 here, starting with round number 3. Now, the first thing for G2 is I was really surprised with how they were playing, because usually this team, how they play around Jonah P is they hold on to his utility. Like that stun, he'll hold on to that reactively, use that a minute into a round. Instead, in these early rounds, G2 were using that very early on. You can see sort of up here on your mini-map, he's set up for a fault line going into the corner. That ability is already gone at the start of the round. And because Furia are seizing this space onto the B site so quickly, what it means is that G2 are without that critical ability for the retake. And they're going to come in flooding very heavily through Baby Door. Now, the rest of their team pretty far back, so it's all up to those 3 players to win this fight. And the first fight they take is going to be with some Jonah P utility, right? He's got the Breach Blast, he tosses a flash on up there, but a great counter flash on the opposite side means that this fight just ends up being a 1-for-1 for G2. And then we're at a situation where just a minute and 24 seconds into the round, Jonah P has 0 pieces of utility. From here on out, it is all gunplay, and this is where Furia, with a quad swing into this corner, absolutely rinse G2. It falls apart in just a blink of an eye for them. So then we skip ahead to round 5. You know, they lose round 4. Now they've got another buy round here with the rifles, but again, they're using this fault line right off the rip. And look at the positioning on the minimap from Furia, right? They read this instantly and are adjusting by sprinting over, sprinting over into the seaside, right? Get a little bit fun there. But this is where I'm a little bit confused with what G2 was actually doing, right? Because they thrive in very controlled round states. They thrive when they can sort of set the pace, play planned retakes, and instead here, they go for 3 players moving in on the flank. And what this means is that the rest of their team is very weak, right? The map is getting flipped into them over towards their own spawn, and this 3 players going up on the flank here, well, they're not ready to clear away the Clove. Heat is lying in wait right here, gets the first kill, and even though he's eventually going to be traded out, he comes back on the res. And again, if you just look at how crazy the situation is on the minimap, you've got 3 isolated players of G2s. And again, G2 thrive when they're playing together. So, okay, they end up losing that round, it drips away from them, whatever. But that means it's now a 5-0. They're going to be forced onto an eco in the next. It's now a 6-0. Not so good. So we come into round 7, again a bye round for them, and again they actually won early on. So it's a 3v2 situation. They're geared up, primed for a retake once the smoke goes down, but their spacing is just ever so slightly off, right? Jonah P is out here on this initial angle with Giacomo holding with the operator to hit a player on mound. The problem is Trent is holding with the op, and now on paper, that's not a terrible idea, but the op is a one-shot, right? Jonah P is not. Trent needs to be out on this wide angle to deal with Rafa on the off angle to be able to trade out and win this fight, which he just isn't instantly able to do. This adds to time winding down. Jogmo's still got the operator going for the slow peek again against the off angle, and it also slips away due to time. It goes to show that how quickly it can rack up an 8-0 scoreline when these close rounds, when these swing rounds, when these bye rounds slip away at the end. We'll hear what Furia's coach has to say now.
Here with Coach Feo ahead of map 2, and that first one, you had a strong lead, you're not able to close it out, but going into map pick of Ascend, what are you going to do to make sure that the team takes the lead but also closes it out?
A gente escolheu o Ascent porque é mapa bem confortável nosso, desde sempre a gente é muito confortável, no Brasil a gente aplicava bastante eles. A gente está fazendo plano de jogo, executando bem, a gente saiu na frente no último mapa, a gente não conseguiu fechar infelizmente. Acho que é mapa que a gente tem bastante experiência para conseguir contornar as coisas e saírem do controle. Então eu tô confiante para esse segundo mapa.
Yeah, we picked Accent because it's a map we are very comfortable to play in. We got the leadership in the first map, but we let it slip. So for this map, we are way more prepared for take the leadership and take to the end.
All right, best of luck.
Thank you so much for that, Dryad, and we'll see if Furia can manage to pull off that map to win because they got close. They got close. But before we talk about that real fast, so I want to take a little trip back down memory lane to, like, I don't know, 5 minutes ago. And when Josh RT talked about Waylay, hello, Waylay. Do you think we're being trolled, Mimi?
I really hope not, and I'm inclined to believe him and be a trusting person, but that also could go wrong.
I want to establish, if you lie to me, Josh, our relationship, tarnished forever. Just want to be very clear.
I was looking at the tracker for Giacomo. He has had like 2 weeks since coming home from Masters Bangkok. Guess how many Waylay matches he's played?
Way too much.
Yeah,
140. Oh, it gets 200.
Okay, 70. Not that. That's like 200 hours. There's not that many hours in 2 weeks.
Yo, he's got to have that winner's mindset.
He's been grinding this agent,
If that was me, it would have been 300.
And he is the best Raze player in terms of movement in VCT Americas. There's a new movement agent. There's no one I would be more excited to watch debut Waylay for Americas than Ja. Please let it be true.
What about
Ladies got a point over there. Ladies got a point. All right, folks. Map 2 is going to be coming up right after this while these two continue to bicker. We'll see you on the other side.
Well, let's get back to it then. Yeah, map 2 here for Furia and G2, and it's going to be Ascend. Listen, we haven't seen Ascend in a hot minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's been the one change.
Feels like a decade ago for some reason.
It's been a while ago, even though it's been in the pool for pretty much the entire lifespan of the game and the existence of it. But these two teams as well, and Furia, they're going to have to bounce back after that one. It feels odd to say, given how close it was on paper with the scoreline, but G2 just made a string of rounds. I mean, that has got to crumple your confidence if you're Furia coming into it.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you only won one round on your defensive side, and it kind of feels like you could have stolen a crucial map win for G2, right? I mean, now you're going on your map, Ascent, no momentum. At least you get to start on that defensive side, which, I mean, everybody knows Ascent is so defensive-sided. Even with the map change, it hasn't really done that much that I've experienced in ranked. You still know what you're going to get on this map of Ascent.
For sure, yeah. Most people know how to play it as well. If you've got an acute eye as well, you might be able to spot some spoilers in terms of that agent select, but we'll be getting into that soon enough.
And I'm so excited to see the agent select right now, specifically from the side of G2.
Oh,
there it is.
There it is.
Yes.
This is something that Jorgamo has been putting countless hours into.
Oh yeah, he had 50 hours upon release. I mean, he was just nonstop grinding it on his streams. He still is, as a matter of fact. And I remember in an interview with him, with Pedro, he was talking about how, like, okay, if I want to be able to play this character, I have to make a case to Josh, my coach. I have to show him that, hey, this can actually be played. So I'm very excited to see him on this character. This is what makes G2 such a powerhouse team in Valorant, is the fact that they have really good adaptability. They're very creative with compositions as well, sometimes creating their own metas. So, I mean, let's see how things are going to get here on this map of Ascent. I'm very excited to see Jorgamo cook up on this Waylay.
Already discovering all sorts of tech.
Yeah. And something else to talk about as well is the Vice picks from both sides. I mean, just feels like Cypher and Killjoy are almost unplayable in this current state of the game. But we do have a Yoru from the side of Fury.
I mean, it's bucking a trend in terms of what we would come to expect for Ascent as a map. Fury as well, opting into something a little bit different. Obviously, all
Deuxième game, deuxième map, la map à Furia. Sure. Attends, ok. Pistol run, let's go. Furia en attaque. Nice, nice. Oui, Waylay. Très joli kill. Très joli kill.
En vrai, fallait s'y attendre.
Très joli kill de Jorgamo sur...
Fallait s'attendre à voir Waylay ici.
Les jeux de attaque, oh là là, purée. Et c'est ça, je l'avais dit, ça allait pas tarder de voir. Et j'avais parlé de ça, hein. Jorgamo, Aspas, et puis Oxy.
Jorgamo, Aspas et Oxy, ce sont les trois.
C'est eux qui allaient commencer ce bal-là, machin. Et c'est Jorgamo qui ouvre le bal.
A break in the play here. The G2 at least going to be able to set themselves up into the post now. Doubled up into Hell. Valen holding in through main. A lot of damage done to a multitude of them. Trent's I got 8 HP to work with. Same can be said for a few of these Furia players. Jump in, right click and see that they can get lucky with a stray shot on Khalil. One more bullet will do it. Furia need to hit some shots and they need it now. In through and wide. Rapper just not accounting for it. He with the peak. Khalil from the side leaves it down. It's not 1v1. With the damage done, you got to think Valen's favored round and wide. Pistol round gained and granted here for G2. But my God, man.
If this is the type of Ascent we're in for today, I'm all for it. I mean, the old meta is so dull, so boring. You already know what's going to be happening. The explosiveness that we just saw from both sides, honestly, even the retake of Furia was looking pretty nice. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath today on this map of Ascent. But we're already seeing very creative things from the side of G2. That Waylay going all the way into market, recalling backwards while an A hit was coming through. I mean, very, very cool stuff that we're seeing. Very creative from the side of G2. And it's going to be difficult to deal with if you're Furia. You're not used to this type of playstyle.
Okay, it's one way to deal with you.
Might not matter.
Yeah, just trying to jump past and disrespect that one way. It's one way to do it. Doesn't work out.
He gets out too. Unreal. Very aggressive angle taken here from Heat as well. I mean, I was kind of having some questions in my brain, you know, how is he going to play now that he's on, you know, the Sentinel role again? Because he was on Clove on the last map, the pseudo-duelist. How is he going to play this Vice here? It looks like he's still playing aggressive.
Yeah, it's an eco, so he's going to be disrespecting, taking forward positions.
Oh, I think he heard something. Yeah, he's got to get out of here. Wait for his team to rotate.
Luckily for G2, they did reclaim that Guardian.
One suppressed.
Knife on the side. Beats Noob spotted out. You can follow the sound cues if you are Fury, but how do you disrespect the util? The answer is you don't really. Dodging and weaving past it. One through the back of the side of the team trying to take a swing! And my god, Havoc ripping off heads!
Parle et tu
Four
mets des
piece
petits
from
contents.
Havoc. He gets the first in A main, TP's out. It was full disrespect. And the look on your face right now says it all.
I mean,
everyone's jaw has just dropped in this arena. Look at this. This is the start that we see. The instant TP out and the full distraction from the player in the back, Heath. He was the forefront there, falling all the way back, buying enough time for his team to make it there, and that's a big, big round win. An eco round win from Furia. Something that is so hard to do against a team like G2 who are so methodical in their approach.
all the way up, hasn't it? Yeah. No slowing down between both of these teams here. Flash out towards A main, Jogamo. Vacuums up the orb and a deep double push down through mid. Leaf. Lucky to be alive. 4 bullets left as well, but that TP back, so Havoc's just getting out, and he's putting up and turning up the heat, man. Wants to try and take these fights straight to them. Classic in hand. Jogamo could not refract back. Not to safety here, but a re-swing again from Leaf. It's relentless.
Just fighting non-stop. They do not care that they have full advantage in the round, that they're up numbers.
Just spotting the top of the head. There's more than a haircut given away here. Out towards Tars. Rafa cleans it up. But listen, Dre, this is more like a paper escape, man.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not stopping.
It's fighting everywhere at all fronts. And it doesn't have to make sense for the side of Furia. If this is what they think is the recipe for success, it has worked so far. But you have to imagine on a gun round where when G2 have, you know, more utility in play, actual firepower, you will get punished. But the benefit of winning eco rounds like this is the fact that your economy can be so great. Look at Havoc already having an operator on play.
Sense played. I mean, that op is important.
So much value here. And again, B main aggression this time. Third members.
Just anticipating it. Here in the jump spot prior, Khalil. Over by the apple there, for the clean up on top of it. So equalized out ever so slightly, but not quite. Furia still with the player advantage, just by 1.
En fait, j'ai pu baisser la sensibilité.
Aggression, like you can't hold it all, right? No. Like, I wonder at what point you're gonna see G2 maybe just clump up, use that KO knife up close, and just full W key. The defense is spread thin right here, though, and G2 are calling the right site to hit. Prize.
Incredibly wide swing. Leaf sense an opportunity to potentially punish Prize. Just up onto that angle. Shocked Tart. Don't know where the hell that one's going, but Havoc needs to just be watching onto this position. The smoke gets them in. G2 looking to pave away. Path to success, but these shots are hitting, rattling wide. Jonah P. Instant answer in through the back of the side, and he has the spike in hand, but against this many players, just so damn unlikely. 3-1 by Furia. No slowing down.
Not at all. And we had questions that we needed to be answered. Are they going to start off kind of shaky because of how they lost the last map? So far, it's just been aggression on aggression. And to hit op shots like this after he didn't really have an op in his hands at all in the last map, I mean, that shows the mechanical talent of why Havoc is here. A player that started so rough in this league. I mean, playing the KO and dropping, what, like 1 kill?
That was brutal at the beginning.
I mean, now he's sitting at 8-1 with his own Your Ultimate online that he can use for whatever he wants. And a new setup here. KO is on Cat.
G2 with mass pings in mid as well. They're using all the utility at their disposal. Hoping for an early catch.
Yeah, trying to catch out Havoc, probably, who walked all the way down mid in the previous round.
Heat is purely disrespecting him, though, as well. He's playing ahead of his util constantly.
He does not care, but with doing so, he baits out so much utility.
Là, c'est bon, c'est mieux.
Had to invest. Proactivity in mid now
bon.
From the side of Furia. Can they catch out for John here?
Ah, mon gars.
Still Garden.
Ouais,
It's going to overlay on top. Some corners here. Prize is trying to play onto site here. He's going to have a weapon to use. Molly at your feet. Rapido re-exploring in through the side as well. Another carry for Jorg. Slipped his way in through the market. Himself an upgrade into the process. Do you want to try and make his way in? Yeah, Flash is picture perfect almost. Sheriff bullet straight to the dome of Prize.
Est-ce que là tu m'écoutes?
Him out. Paranoia sweeping wide. Jorgamo's a menace at this point. Thorn in their sides that they just cannot remove.
Clearing out lead. He's the only win condition now.
Use one more. Jorg back to multiple players.
Là c'est bon, là c'est mieux. On peut maintenant we go.
Jorg is just a menace. One-man army.
And that was the plan from the start of the round. He was one of the only players with a rifle in his hands. Takes all of that mid control, and that was the biggest gap in Player's defense. There was a little bit of sound made on a re-clear that gives Jaw the cue to all of a sudden wrap all the way around as the sight hit's coming through.
Excusez-nous pour le stand-by, on a eu un petit problème technique qu'on devait régler.
Ouh, Jao Gemo, il a failli ace.
Et de belles têtes à ce joueur, de belles têtes.
Ouais.
Shifts back into the hands of G2. Jogamo picking up that operator.
Up the up.
And it's actually a perfect gun to use with the playstyle that Fury has been doing on this map. Oh, there's that aggression being punished.
I think that might just be random spam. Not sure if it was ahead of the smoke coming up, but there's that coverage and a flash forwards. Yeah, spotted it. Just the shoulder, TP back and away. It's from Havoc.
KO ultimate used pretty early on here.
Yeah, it's going to be sweeping out wide.
I think they're going to catch out Havoc.
That's true, and Jogamo is still accounted for these possible repositions. At the same time as that, Khalil, deep push and disrespect in through A main. Trent's been dropped, but still player advantage here for G2. I think trying to get a bit of a control on the tempo of this game, because
it's been so fast-paced.
Scrappy, hasn't it?
Yeah, but now they're just starting to punish Fury on all cylinders. I mean, Valen connecting every single shot. And this is what I'm talking about. This operator.
Non, mais là,
It's actually so smart.
Moi, mon pronostic, c'est la victoire à G2.
You can completely hold angles now. Get the first kill, dip out.
Je vois G2 gagner le terrain.
That KO ultimate, it was used to try to catch out Havoc. If Havoc doesn't TP out earlier in the round, I mean, he's stuck in that corner.
I think they thought that he had
Parce que tu supportes Jagemo.
It didn't matter though.
Yeah.
Joga was still accounted.
Même pas, mais bon.
Three peak.
Once you get the angle, like once you get an aggressive angle like that with that
J'aurais bien aimé qu'on aille la troisième map. Je sais pas, ça peut pouvoir arriver. Bah, j'ai vite envie de voir l'espace.
C'est vrai que avec cette game G de Furia sur Accent, on voit l'entrée en scène de Wele dans ses VCT. Du coup, vu que avant le début des VCT, Aspas, il gérait bien. Du coup, on a bien envie de le voir.
Et là, peut-être quand il voit Jao Gemo jouer où il est comme ça, il sent que oh man, tu aurais pu faire mieux.
Effectivement.
So the fact that Valen is able to adapt on the fly like that, I mean, that's such a great leadership skill that he has. Now we have that Waylay ultimate online, Omen ult online as well. Rafa, he does have a KO ult, but I mean, look at the weaponry. Like Havoc is on a Bucky. You're top fragger.
Dimensional drift.
Does somebody give him a gun, man?
Well, listen, the ult.
Yeah, I know, but man, give it to him for the retake. Maybe let him start off with a good gun. You know?
I get what you mean.
This guy, I mean, that 4K was nothing to be, you know, ashamed of. It was crazy. And now it's just very, very slow play from G2, waiting for more aggression.
Fake out with a TP. Havoc's got his aim trained on a potential site. Needs to clear it.
Yeah, contact, walk up here. A lot of utility being committed to take this B main. Vice flash. Perfectly timed from Heat to not only get out, but deny some of that B main space. It still hasn't all been covered.
Cover going out.
The whole map is still in play for the side of G2. Nobody in mid from the side of Fury. You have no info, no eyes on that whatsoever. And this is the interesting part about the shift in meta, not running that Cypher, not running that Killjoy. You don't have guaranteed information on these spots anymore.
That's exactly right. Gives you windows of opportunities. It's going to be that slow siege still continuing. Jorgamo is making a lot of noise. He's the only one to do it.
Yeah, but everyone else is geared up towards B main.
That's Havoc with the ult. He's at his back. Does he want to choose to jump? Not quite. G2 instead are going to be setting the sights now over towards this A side. Prize and opportunity. Nobody's watching this smoke. He could just slip past the gap and see if he can find an opening, but they're just being torn asunder, aren't they? What is that, I believe? Flips it around, a quick 180 and a bullet to the dome. Prize is no more.
Filthy shot from Leaf. He had no right winning that aim duel.
Ok, ok.
But all this space
Là,
in
c'est
mid that
bien
has been
parti.
gathered by G2. I
Bien
mean, all
parti.
they're left to do is leave Jaw on an island there. But he's so confident in his talent, even with an op walking up to re-clear all that space.
Voilà.
It's like they just know that it's
En fait, ils se sont pas laissés disperser par
everyone from the side of
Furia.
that B main pressure is there, is looking there.
Perf.
Completely distracted.
Spotting the shoulder.
Some cool tech right there.
Gone for another set of plays. That's a classic in hand, and Havoc's doing all
Wow.
that.
See, give him
Il a quand même réussi à prendre le kill.
Give the man a rifle.
Let him loose. See what he can do, but G2 now taking this lead. It feels like we just started this map and we're already into round 8 itself.
What a complete swing of just momentum and a shift in play. Furia just, after a thrifty round win, after an eco round win, just completely taking things into their own hands, putting the fight on G2, basically running them down in spawn, let's just be honest. And now, G2 weathering that storm, getting a little confident themselves, and playing that macro game that they know they're good at.
Attack side off is a good option as well.
Oh, it's so good.
The amount that, as we've been mentioning, Heat and Khalil have been just disrespecting A main, B main control, peeking into it alone.
You can see it now on the mini-map.
Ah,
Everyone's scared to peek these really deep angles now. And yes, there's a little bit more aggression from the side of Fury. I understand that there's a huge gap that has been being abused time and time again from G2. But it's just not good enough. I mean, he's going to get overwhelmed. There's too much utility in play. With the shot he's being taken, I mean, it makes it kind of obvious that there might be players in it now.
Cannot get suppressed in this spot. Luckily, the spines are not going his way.
I mean, that off just almost ringing a bell into Rafa's brain.
Scary business.
Yeah, he had to fall all the way back, but B site is the name of the game for G2.
Here it is. Gonna be a wall in the face here, George. He's got the ult on top of it. There it is. Let's send it. See what happens here. Conversion pass in and up and over around the top. The steel guard, no drop down. Jorg's only got a short. He's blinded. Oh boy, it doesn't even matter. That's mincemeat in through the back of the site, and with Heat dropped, it's the site cracks wide open. You didn't have to choose to take that refract back here. Hunter's Fury from Prize has to be offloaded. Anything to try and slow them down and get Furia and in a win con. Anything inside. Leaf is dominating the position. Perched up just outside market. He wants a little bit more.
What a warrior. Just swinging everybody alone, holding market down himself. But how cool is that execute?
Oh, okay,
my goodness, all the utility. And I mean, Jogama wanted to use that shorty anyway in that moment, so the Vice Alt doesn't really do anything for him.
Bro, I mean, there's a lot of layers to that.
I can't even imagine being
Ils veulent faire tomber les armes.
Being separated by his team by the wall in that spot.
No,
he's got the refract to get back.
Yeah, if he has to, he doesn't even
Ils
have to.
ils savent ça.
Prize. He's getting hunted right now, and he gets
Nice, ils ont quand même réussi.
Oh my
Là, c'est pour bien ruiner, détruire l'économie de Furia. Tu vois que la team... comment ça s'appelle? Waouh, le kill que Jagimo a pris là, c'était nice.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he knows those shots were nice. I mean, you could just tell Leaf, he's just been...
Honnêtement, là, ils ont tout pour eux. Tout pour eux.
Josh, switching him over to that sentinel role, understanding that, I mean, you basically have another duelist in play.
Yeah, there's a lot.
He can take 1v1s anytime he wants, and he's always favored, it feels like.
Very intelligent player as well. He's willing to fill in the gaps as well where he can find them.
Yeah, and oftentimes it's a setup like this from the side of G2 where he's on an island. But, I mean, how many times have we seen him get punished? I feel like barely any.
Ça va aller vite.
Strength.
Nice, ils sont sur site déjà. C'est ça la puissance à Waylay, c'est ça.
Caster's curse.
Yep.
Ça, c'est vraiment la puissance à Waylay.
Elle est passée par-dessus le wall sans que le wall ne l'ait détecté.
Oui, et après l'autre est seulement passé, ils se sont retrouvés à 2 sur 6.
It's a 3v5 now. It's the best chance in a long while to Fury to get around. Here into this map, you can't let it slip just yet. Drawn open over the top there. Heat wall popped open.
Bon, là, par contre, G2, ils ont pas su bien défendre.
Revealing all straight through the wall. Jonah P. Got to back away at this point. It's a 1v4. You're getting overwhelmed.
Yeah, save that operator. You know,
Oui, il faut safe flopper, il faut safe flopper.
You don't want to put that in the hands of Havoc either.
Et eux, ils vont chercher à faire tomber le
to close out one of the rounds. And a good job from Furia. I mean, taking advantage of Leaf being on an island. Yeah, he kind of got overwhelmed. He got swarmed there. But then taking it a step further, Rafa taking that flank against Valen, not giving any space for G2 to kind of
Furia,
in that moment.
une bonne team, mais c'est trop une team moyenne. Ils jouent trop le milieu des tableaux. Ils vont gagner par moment, après ils vont perdre, et après voilà, ils vont pas aller très loin.
Switching Heat over towards that A site when he's just been playing out towards B. Slowed him down enough to buy time for Furia.
I think this is why you see a little bit of a change now from G2. Okay, we're gonna go back to taking B main control again. Every time we've gotten that, we've gotten middle for free. The entire map has opened up. Hop shot heard from the side of Catwalk. That allows Leaf to take all that mid space himself. I mean, he has an operator in his own hands right now.
Un, deux. Un OP de chaque côté.
Paranoia up in your face, Khalil. Balance easily finding it. Hold on, saturate down and around. I was getting this man. Dodging and juking most of the way forward.
Nice.
From on high. Looking to rain down bullets. Got the operator, got the ult. Straight shots fired, but gonna play this one a bit more passively. Needs to buy time.
Ah, normalement, Zaguero, il va pas trop pique parce qu'il est très low.
For this late lurk that's occurring, Rafa. Pressure now, bit of a clearance in through tree.
And this time, no late flank coming all the way around. Yeah. Easy shot for Leaf in the 1v1. I mean, he's already primed on that angle.
Ils vont safe flopper.
Ils vont safe flopper. This post plant. Rafa is trying to catch out any people exiting here, but that side hold this time, everybody staying in, nobody worrying about the flank right there.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's just the new compositions as well and how uncomfortable these teams are, I think, playing it, maybe. Because when a set's played so long with a Sober,
de continuer à prendre de l'avance.
you just expect things to be the way they are, right? Alarm bot in mid, Sober's going to dart, and the drone to clear out on mid. The comp change-ups, it allows gaps, but it is a difficult to account for. And I'm not sure if that's the reason we're seeing it being this scrappy, or if it's just both of these teams seeking to opt into it. G2 have definitely made decent efforts to try and slow down the pace at times, but even still feels back and forth.
Yeah, that round was a fast cat split. I mean, with Valen being the only person in A main. Had Khalil not whiffed his first bullet, he doesn't get paranoid there, and he gets the kill.
Okay, Jorg's still doing work. I think that's just a jump spot that he was spotting up towards Cat there, maybe just off of timing.
We gotta get a replay on that. That must have been so quick.
Yeah.
And now they just freeze because they know every single time Fury are down numbers, they want to peek more.
They go for peaks like Khalil's doing here. Yeah, and you've got the read there, Dre.
G2 have downloaded Furia.
They have.
It's so impressive.
They know that they can just put the squeeze down, apply that pressure with an early pick-off. They just wait it out. Furia are the ones that have to make the moves.
That dagger being used. G2 know that doesn't connect on anybody. That's why you see Valen doubling back. You might want to show a little bit more pressure here.
En vrai, GD, ils sont dans leur match.
Doesn't connect on Havoc though.
Ils sont bien dans leur match. Ils ont puré.
Ridiculous. Swings into it. Havoc's no more.
Ils ont fait tomber l'opérateur à Furia.
Calling for the rotate though again. There's push and pull. About 30 seconds left into the round here.
Et là, ça va être compliqué pour leur écho. Ils seront obligés de courir la prochaine manche.
Covering up the smoke, there'll be no repush. Jorgon clears most of the way on top of it. Sours at his feet, but that's just
Regarde la vitesse à laquelle il rentre sur site avec Waylay. Oh là là, purée.
A perfect call from Valen. Like let's just say it how it is. I mean, the knife that Rafa threw in A main was false information given to them. So Valen understands they're probably going to rotate towards that B. As soon as Leaf gets that entry, now they're definitely rotated towards B.
Yeah.
You have a free A site. It was a masterclass of a round, honestly. What a great call from Valen. And I'm just waiting for the time someone's actually in sight for this like Teho, Waylay utility combos on this hit. Yeah. I just want to see what's going to happen.
Regarde la line.
No scope somebody because that's what
Non,
he's doing. I mean, he cleared out all of hell with an op. Like,
Jonah paye carré quoi.
He's happy to take point with
C'est ça
it.
qui montre la différence entre les pros et les pros.
C'est ça, c'est vraiment ça qui montre la différence. Il sait exactement que là, quand il a balancé son couteau pour Recon, là, il sait où ça va l'atterrir. Et même s'il n'est pas dans la zone, automatiquement, tous les mates ont l'info de la position du sauveur. Non, mais le kill a été très nice. Oh non, non, Dragamon est dans son match, quoi. Il est trop dans son match.
Honestly, he handled that a lot better than I would in that moment.
Yeah.
I would have been raging. Maybe a death slam.
It feels like we just got started on Ascend. We're already last round of the first half. Here it is. Push off and away. Try and take B main control as the goal for G2.
Yeah, because of how the previous rounds have went, I mean, the string of rounds G2 have accumulated, you are able to use a double op in the beginning of this round. I'm sure there's a rifle drop somewhere in the back of spawn that Leaf can pick up, or Jogamo.
Out in the open. Attempted to bail out. These flashes flying forwards, but Rafu still isolated on an island down towards the bottom section.
Crispy.
Valen's quick to take him out of the picture, wall baited out on top of it. It's the slow siege that G2 are so good at.
Yeah, lot rides on Havoc right now to try to find a pick, try to even the numbers here for the side of Furia. He does have that operator in hand. But the wide swings from G2, it's like they just know where an op is posted up. You have to be so quick.
Ça commence à devenir compliqué pour Furia. J'espère que eux, où il est passé.
Knives in action! And Havoc
No way, il l'a cut.
Jagemo était en train de couper, et réellement.
See if he can pick up the pieces into this one. Double face up, but he's isolated it so damn nicely. Leaf, surely not.
Oh, no way. No way. Ah, ce que Leaf vient de faire. Dinguerie.
I mean, just tracking him the entire way through, even through the wall. A different type of flow state done from Havoc. It's just not enough.
Oh, purée.
You would think a knife to the face would do it, demoralize the enemy.
Oh, c'était beau. C'était beau.
Oh my gosh, look at that smile.
Nice, nice, nice. Non, là, ils sont dans leur match.
Ouais, ils sont bien dans leur élément.
Dans leur match.
Absolutely unreal stuff overall as well. We're gonna send it down to the floor as well. We got Dryad
Ils sont dans la zone.
Là, tous sont dedans. Tous font des beaux kills, tous sont prêts.
Des beaux clips.
That's right, I'm here with G2 Hammy, and this match has been insane. Hammy, we saw this back in
Oh, le cut là, c'était wow. Le cut là, c'était
wow. It was
wow.
a crazy comeback for G2. Were you worried for a second, or was it all chill?
I was not worried.
Tu cut en plein match de VCT, man.
G2 played Lotus plenty of times. Nothing new. I was not surprised. Even if it was a 10 to 11 and a half, was not worried in the slightest. Yeah, appreciate you.
And something that you talked about, because we heard some hot takes from you that were not really hot takes, because you were talking about Jogamo being one of the best duelists, or actually the best duelist. Now you're seeing him on Waylay. What are your thoughts?
I mean, like, are we surprised? He's just the GOAT. You know what I mean? I'm not surprised in the slightest. I mean, him on a Waylay, put him on anybody, he'll fry.
Anybody that can match him? Not really, right?
No one. It's not possible.
And also, once you're co-streaming, where are the moments where you're kind of stressing out the most when you're seeing these overtimes? I mean, we think about what we saw internationally from them. When you're seeing these advantages, what's going through your head?
Well, honestly, I mean, I'm always just like, I always see G2, like, when they're playing, they're just like, they're always putting on a show regardless, like, nonetheless. Like, yeah, I'm stressing sometimes, but they also, like, always manage to pull through. It was pretty hard at, you know, as we've seen at Bangkok and stuff like that, but hey, we'll win Toronto. It don't matter.
Non mais un jour, ne vous inquiétez pas, un jour je vais détacher l'anglais comme eux. C'est tout à fait normal.
G2 are just in control really.
Ouais, j'ai un bug avec le tâche de sentinelle.
It was at the beginning of all of this. And, you know, we kind of started this match highlighting George. He's putting in the hours onto the waylay, putting in work. He's top fragging for his team as well, 13 and 6.
Nice.
There's a bit of a running joke there where Jogamo gets to finally bait his team. And he's been talking about this amongst one another. And I mean, we get to see what happens when that's the case. He's 13 and 6. He's sitting at the top. It must feel nice for him to be able to, you know, be the first guy and the second guy in this time around.
Escapes the Euro jail slightly. Normally he's the bait at the end of the stick there. He's taking contact up through mid and a lot of disrespect shown here by Fury. They've already vacuumed up control of market.
Yeah, but now is where the protocols of G2 come into effect. So you got the Thorns, you got the Flash here to delay even extra.
On vous laisse l'impression aussi.
Yeah, just spotting out Utah, including these players. The Flash is good with the connection. Okay, crash.
Comment sortir du
Back
site?
to safety for Havoc. Still alive here. Fury not leaving though, and backs are open wide here, but there's an instant trade-off as Leaf is dropped. Now trying to get themselves into the side. What a call!
Oh, bien joué, Jagemo. Oh, c'est bien joué.
Up overhead, calls the flash and Jonah P.
Et à ce que je vois, même quand il back, ça ne prend pas en compte les smokes. Il voit à travers smoke. Dingue. Oh, NT.
Not long for this world, is he?
Ok, ils ont ta position, mon gars.
Là, tout le monde est low en plus. C'était trop tard. NT.
The different layers that we just saw in this pistol round from G2. I mean, Jogamo playing in mid aggressively, getting the info if anybody are running up, and then playing off of Leaf. But I mean, Leaf in that moment to get proactive on lane and actually go for that reclear, go for that fight, getting one. Allows this to happen. The pop flash from Jonah P.
Parce que les deux premiers rounds sont des classiques rounds. Ils vont se jauger un peu. Et après, on passe maintenant à Guardian et Vandal.
Par contre, là, les autres vont prendre les. Voilà, il y a des Bulldogs et. Voilà, Phantom, Petit Shield. Pour Valine.
A lot of you two going to be laid down here by G2.
Yeah, they want that B main control. They even grab the orb on top of it.
Jagemo en outlaw.
Try to get orbs of their own on their eco rounds, you know, just try to
Il a
get
touché
something
Rafa.
out of nothing.
Je sais pas si c'est parce que la saison dernière, je me suis pas trop attardé sur le roster de Furia, mais j'ai l'impression qu'il y a des noms, il y a des nouveaux noms en fait.
De Furia?
Ouais.
Ouh, la tête que Leaf vient de se prendre.
Oh, ils se sont smoke en même temps. Trent est dans le bac.
Trent qui peut tenter quelque chose.
Il peut.
Bien.
La position grâce aux autres. Il y a le call. Fake.
Ouais, c'était évident. C'était évident. Bien joué, Jagemo. Bien joué à G2. Il vient de faire un beau move.
Non, Waylay, c'est trop fort.
Tu sens comment? Tu te reconvertis joueur Waylay?
Waylay, c'est trop fort.
Parce que là, t'as vu la tête? Tête de ouf.
G2 are already in good positions to get that retake going. He landed some really nice shots into that round. It's just not enough. Let's see, it will be the first gun round here, and if you look at the economy of G2, I mean that.
C'est juste wow.
Too pretty. You only have one Phantom in play. Let's see what Leaf can cook up here, though.
Ils vont chercher très tôt.
Ils vont chercher carrément les joueurs à Furia.
Oui. Ils t'attendent. Ils vous attendent. Ils sont défenseurs, mais voilà.
Le round à la Vandal.
Ouh. C'était wow. Ah, c'était juste wow.
We were talking about how Furia were taking the fight to G2. I mean, to see it the other way around, it's just insanity. And now it's a 4v2, 5v2 retake. Yeah, it's heroics.
Ouh. Dinguerie. Jagemo Khalil, qu'est-ce qui va se passer ici? Ah, NT, non mais c'était bien joué. NT.
Bizarrement, j'ai l'impression que s'il n'avait pas arrêté, il aurait diffusé ça.
Il n'aurait pas lagué.
S'il n'avait pas arrêté la diffuse, il aurait pu.
Oui, il aurait pu parce que l'autre, le Omen ne l'avait pas vu. Khalil ne l'avait pas vu.
C'est ça, les fights quand l'autre est en hauteur, c'est compliqué.
Et puis il n'avait pas sa position. Du coup, il était obligé de s'arrêter, chercher à prendre le kill avant. En plus, il a balancé une paranoïa. T'es mal à line-up. Qu'est-ce qu'il est allé faire?
Non, là, il a pris trop de risques.
Ouais. Juste parce qu'il voulait récupérer l'arme. C'était dangereux ce qu'il a fait.
Nice, Furia, nice, c'est ça.
C'est ça, vous ne devez pas vous laisser avoir sur votre map.
Qui joue le mieux, qui sera récompensé au final. Je pense que j'ai au bout d'un moment donné, ils ont trop pris la confiance.
Nice, nice. Et là, il court sur toi. Il a vu Omen en face.
Nice. Là, les joueurs savent approximativement où tu te situes.
Fury just keep that confidence going, trailing into round 16, earn themselves another one. You've got to take it one step at a time if you're going to try and equalize, at least in terms of these rounds.
How long can they keep it up for though? How long can they ride that momentum of that 2v5?
C'est frustrant, vous êtes en 3v1 et tu meurs par l'ennemi qui est en train de save. C'est frustrant.
We saw that Yoru teleport getting some good value. He's so fast. I mean, his reactions are insane. I mean, Havoc is having a phenomenal game as well. Let's see what Fury can cook up with this ultimate. Maybe they don't want to invest it into this round, but
they're up against the weaker buy of G2, which might be the reason why. But honestly, I do want to show them a little bit of respect, I think. So, yeah, the ult is going to get you. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, any round you can get.
Oh, il n'a pas vérifié l'angle. Ah, mais heureusement.
As this has happened, I mean, flashed himself in the process, got the info. His team need help though. It's a rapid play by G2. They just took it straight to them. That's a kill up towards the top section of mid. Rafa's got to try and contain this one. I think they've dropped a rifle for them. Pete making his way up through and around. B main control given up. Spy drone, Trent forward, close quarters, looking for the repick. This is mad. This is chaos, man.
This is insane.
Look at the way this is. What is happening? Cut his way up. I mean, his Fury players are on a play.
Mais qu'est-ce qui se passe ici? Une bagarre au spawn. Why? Pourquoi? Quoi? Il a réussi à en faire tomber deux.
Tu sais qu'il sait que tu es là. Voilà.
Vous savez.
Nice, nice. Oui, voilà.
I mean, players of Fury everywhere, but I mean, it is because of the pace that G2 are putting on them as well. I mean, it's been so much fast-paced aggression, which is so uncharacteristic.
C'était n'importe quoi.
Just vibing with it too, huh?
Oui, on applaudit ce genre de mots. Oui, c'est le moment de ta mort là pour rien, parce que là ça va mal. Le coach doit agir, le coach doit donner des calls.
Omen paranoia.
Call for Furia to take it one step further by trying to fight in through spawn.
I think they were hoping to find something, but it was the way that G2 bunkered down. It didn't actually give those 1v1s those picks. I mean, you saw Trent there in spawn at B, just using that recon drone, getting the info, and Fury just, they couldn't make a plan.
G2 a gagné sur sa map. Et là, ils sont sur la map à Furia. Du coup, si Furia ne se wake up pas, ça va finir en 2-0.
What he had said in an interview was he feels like Fury need to focus on having success in the chaotic moments, being calm in those moments if they want to make a run in this stage.
Et si ça finit en 2-0, on n'aura pas la game sur split.
Exactement.
A struggle, right? I mean,
Game one, when it
Sniper on split.
The going gets rough. It's a little bit chaotic. The comms not being cleared, and calls are being made all over the bloody place. It brings.
Ouais, par contre, mec, le dernier game sur split là, ça s'est très mal passé. Oh, ça me fume, ce genre de move me fume.
I mean, Fury now, I mean, Havoc's sitting at a sheriff, right? Why are we not giving this man a rifle? He's sitting at the top for your team. He's been the entry most of the time.
Line-up, c'est la base dans ce jeu.
Maybe just thinking that he's so confident with that gun. But a little bit of an oversight, I feel like, as the pace has been slowed down.
Il faut voir, comprendre, analyser l'architecture des maps.
To G2's pace. That's not something that you hear every single day.
Drone suppressed. Rafa's here. Looking to fake some A pressure. He's alone doing
From
this.
such a way.
Clearing the way out through. So G2 already clearing up the question marks.
An instant reclear, and you still have that vice wall in mid that'll give you info if it's going to be a split.
Moi, je joue bien.
We're from G2.
On rentre pas comme ça au mid, comme si on était chez soi.
DTP now in through A. Swings and roundabouts. Spike into the hands of Khalil here. He just wants to get open access to the A side to try and help his team out. And, well, aim just not quite in control there. Still from on high.
C'était pas évident, mais bien joué, Leaf.
Il a quand même pris le kill.
Ouais.
Game tombe, nice.
Bien joué.
La Fury a géré. Ils ont géré.
Le coach a grondé. Vous voulez rentrer à la maison?
Jonathan a fait l'erreur quand il est rentré dans le mid.
Ouais, parce qu'on rentre pas comme ça.
Saute comme ça là. Tout le monde sait que tu es là.
On lui a dit que c'est la chambre de ses parents. Il est rentré comme ça.
If they can kind of weather that storm against G2, not get picked first from some weird aggression that people aren't accustomed to from the side of G2, maybe that's going to be a recipe for success.
Top frag avec 19 kills.
G2 have not won a gun run actually, just a pistol follow-up and a thrifty of their own.
Non, j'ai dit, vous avancez trop. Ça va finir par vous perdre. Nice. Nice.
Painful. Trent control still.
Non, mais tu recules pas quand tu as la judge. Tu recules pas.
C'était évident. Voilà, là maintenant tu dois save.
Miracle moment once more.
I mean, he's got a minute to work with, but it's going to be such an uphill battle. And you can't really save either, like it's just too much time.
Ouais, mais après, est-ce qu'il va save? T'as vu tout le temps qu'il reste? Il doit save, mais à 40 secondes de la fin, c'est pas évident parce que je pense que les autres vont chercher à aller le prendre.
Ouais.
When the gunfights don't go your way like that, and now you know that there's an operator in play on the defensive side as well.
C'est ça.
It looks like he will be trying to save. I wonder if G2 go for the hunt. I mean, their economy hasn't been that great either. It's been very scrappy back and forth in this chaos that we've been witnessing.
Voilà. Quelqu'un va tomber ici.
Voilà. Definitely has. Heat's going to be able to hold on to the rifle for now, but the big prize, the ultimate one, is G2 getting that 12th round now.
And something I gotta mention is that when you look at the ults online for G2, this is something that this team struggled with in their first year of VCT, was closing out games, much like we were talking about Fury before. But a good recipe for success.
Ouais, 12-7. Le match est plié en un round.
When we're within 2 rounds of winning and just guarantee either the tie or the win with them. And that's what you're seeing. I mean, Trent's even going to have his available online. There's no way.
J'ai dit ça, je dis rien, mais Trent a 2 kills. Hein. Il fait du 2-12 en tournoi. Donc, normalement, dans nos lobbies, si on fait ça, c'est pas grave.
L'apport qu'il apporte à la team, ça joue, mon gars.
I love all this utility on the map for G2 right now. I mean, you have vice utility all
Il a fait les kills importants.
but you're actually playing on B.
Ouais, le kill important.
Already manipulating the attacking side to want to lean heavy towards that A. Clear info being used.
Apportez-moi l'Arsenal.
Doesn't get anything, but you know no one's close. No. Can now walk into that some of that space.
Drop down to the minute mark, and the tensions are now high for Furia. How do you make your way past this one? Listen, Leafs all the way off site, already playing around this null command. Possibility of an A split. They've got the util. He's going to be set up, primed, and ready for it. We're seeing it. Yep, it's going through. Suppression out wide. Holding the ankle.
Bien le kill de Trent.
Voilà, tu l'as parlé fort.
Il doit se fâcher.
Il a voulu te montrer que lui faire des kills, c'est pas un problème pour lui. Oh. Bien.
Blinded up to anything here, straight and around to Jenny. 20 seconds left. The spike is in spawn, man.
Oh, Jaggy. Oh, c'était beau ça.
And series in style. He knows what the players are. All accounted for.
Oh, GG, G2. Oh, GG.
Voilà, voilà, vous avez le bon pronostic.
Le kill de Jagemo a été décisif.
On se retrouve dans quelques minutes pour la game Léviathan contre MIBR.
MIBR. À tout de suite.
It's insane that you could see all that prep working. And what a unique composition that we just witnessed today. I mean, Jogamo looked great. Leaf on that defensive side, his anchoring was phenomenal.
And this is the scary thing about G2 is they're pulling out this comp on Ascent when they've just come back from Bangkok. They've had less time to prep on the maps, knowing it's coming up, of course, but their focus has been on, trying to win that event. They've come into this without as much prep time. It was a good gambit, I think, from Furia to try and go into one of the new maps in the map pool, expecting that G2 would have less practice on it, but it didn't materialize like that. I mean, G2 was so well versed.
Yeah, especially as an underdog. You want to try to get any type of advantage as you want, but exactly what you said, this is what makes this G2 squad so impressive, is the fact that they're probably the only team I've heard not complain about having to play 2 new maps, new agents. Valen doesn't care. He's so poised, he's so professional, and it's all because of that mentor there on his screen, Josh, the coach.
Pour votre info, le Turc a dit qu'il va buy le bundle à G2. Allez. Wesh, et la tête qu'ils ont mis de Jagemo, ils sont pas sérieux quand même.
Going in on those entries on that defensive side, that operator looked phenomenal as well. I mean, what great mechanical talent this man has. Furia, they put up a great fight on that first map, though. I mean, I think all things considered, I think it's a step forward in the right direction for Furia, having to play like one of the best teams.
Yeah, if you're going to look for any silver line whatsoever, of course, no one's expecting Furia, this team that's been just having so many troubles over the course so far of this year, to be, holding a candle to a team like G2, who just come off the back of making it all the way deep at the recent Masters event. Of course, the expectations aren't going to be there, but the fact that they were able to make them bleed is good signs for Furia. They're making the right moves. Prize in particular.
Oh, he looked great.
He's pulling off miracle moments. I think he really did look good.
I thought his utility was great too, honestly. And you could see the impact that had in a lot of these rounds. So, yeah, I mean, Furia, you had to play against the runners-up of Thailand, but I could see it.
Yeah, there's a vision, there's a method towards the madness here that Furia going for so far as well. And yeah, I mean, what a series as well to open up our day here. And for G2, it really felt like, okay, missed a bit of a beat at the beginning of the series, but
that grit,
as it got deeper, that grit was just absolutely insane. We're going to send it down onto the stage as well. Dryad is standing by for a Horizon post-match interview. It's the GOAT himself, it's Jorgamo.
Is it Matt, the myth, the legend, and the Waylay player? Can we hear it for Jorgamo?
Hello.
Jorgamo, it's good to have you back in the Americas stage. We got to see Waylay for the first time, and I mean, we're insane on it. We've seen the streams. We know what you've been doing. What does it feel like? Tell me, why does the idea of playing Waylay on Ascent come from?
I mean, I think it's just a better jet. You have some more util to isolate yourself. You can always get one and get out. I mean, that's like a cheat code. I mean, the ult is massive. It's like a breach ult, so you can cover a lot of lanes. You can do a lot of work that Jet couldn't do, in my opinion.
But we gotta talk about the beginning as well, because it started a little stressful. It was an 8-0 going the way of Furia. What happens to make sure that the team is able to come back and act like nothing happened?
We kind of just brushed off the rounds that we knew that we should have won. They definitely were playing a really great default, but
jail is just insane. So like Valen just take cares of us throughout the rounds. He makes sure that we're playing together. If we're not playing together, you'll see the mistakes. They'll get the lead on us, but you can see Valen bringing us back in and win that map for us. So yeah.
It feels like you're also used to handling a lot of pressure. Everybody has their eyes on you, and especially you as a duelist. Everybody's saying that you're the best. How are you handling that as well? Do you take it step by step? Do you know that you're winning the stage? You're winning tournament? What is the mentality for the team?
From my previous coach, Potter, like she taught me just step by step. So I mean, I've taken that aspect and brought it to my own style of like game plan and ideas throughout the games, because you can't be overconfident with any of these teams, because you can see like these guys are shooting today, but you know we were a better team because we came back as a team and played together. So as long as the team is playing together, we're unstoppable. Simple as that.
And speaking of those teams, those next matches are going to be MIBR, Energy, 11 T9. What is the one that you're looking forward to the most?
I'm ready for Aspas again, always. That's my goat every time.
Yeah?
That's my goat. So yeah, I'm ready to see. I know he's going to play Waylay too. It's obvious, you know. The best Jet players are playing Waylay right now, so I'm excited to see Aspas on stage with that.
So everybody that you see with the Waylay, those are the best players in Americas, that's for sure. Thank you so much, Giacomo.
Thank you.
And we'll send it back to you guys.
Red Bull gives you wings.
posture for 12 hours a day. It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you, gamers, hybrid workers, artists, backing your every move.
Eu acho que vai ser uma partida muito divertida contra o Demon 1. Faz um tempinho que a gente não joga contra. A gente jogou contra no kickoff e aí depois só no ano passado. Então vai ser bem legal jogar contra ele de novo.
I think you guys should expect insane things from Demon 1 this year. He has been playing absolutely insane on his new role.
Takes out Aspas again. No, he's on fire.
Cara, com certeza o Demon é uma peça fundamental, jogador muito bom, já se provou também. Mas a gente tem um Aspas, né? Então, tipo, acho que não tem muito com o que se preocupar.
I think the first time I played against Aspas was when I was on T1 and we played them in Shanghai. Obviously, everyone knows he's a very strong player, but he's just another player in the lobby. So I'm just gonna be doing what I normally do, and that's just all it is.
Welcome back, everyone, to VCT Americas, and we're at the halfway point of week 1 and our second match of the day, and it's going to be a banger. You got Aspas and MIBR taking on King and Leviathan. Goldenboy here alongside me, Meander, and Wyatt once again to break it all down here, and this is going to be an exciting game, guys. I'm pumped because, I mean, Wyatt, you both actually are like on the Leviathan bandwagon right now.
I'm all for it, right?
Yeah.
I think this team with the addition of Rossi is going to be looking very strong, but going up against Aspas, who left him, is always a fun matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. The revenge arc. Also, that was the last match that Lev played back in kickoff as well. This MIBR team, they started slow, but really picked up the pace.
That they did, make it to top 3 in kickoff. I think that they played a pretty honest style of gameplay. They didn't lean into a lot of the new meta stuff. They were mostly playing old comps, but they were putting Aspas on Jet on almost every map, and he was having an incredible performance, culminating getting a series kill record in one of their matches, leading up to that top 3 finish.
Now, it was a massive performance from a guy who is considered by many to be the greatest player in the world. But Mimi, what's really fascinating about this is that despite all that success you had at kickoff, they still made some changes.
All the talk going into this roster was this is like Aspas' happy place. He got a couple rookies that Saucy recommended that he's happy with. He's finally playing with Naswer, who got dropped on Christmas from the previous opportunity. He had to play with Aspas. And now, and now Aspas' friend is dropped yet again, and they've picked up a guy who's not Brazilian.
Yeah, but I mean, this is interesting, obviously, like bringing him into the team, but also when you think about what was happening during kickoff, right? Because originally Naswer was supposed to be the IGL for this team. He was IGLing in their first stage game, and then after that loss, they switched it up. It became Artsin taking on the reins over there. So yeah, big change.
Yeah. And that's when they got good. When Artsin took over is when they went on that sick lower bracket run. So assuming this is, from their point of view, a straight up upgrade for individual play and mechanics, which I would agree with when you're looking at Verno off-season stats on your screen right now, but Verno kickoff was sloppy. There was some messy play from him. If we get off-season Verno, though, maybe this can work out despite whatever communication issues will be coming up.
Yeah, it is odd, though, because his and Naswer's performances were both kind of, you know, they were underperformances in a similar way. Verno was definitely not lights out in kickoff, but the offseason promise of this guy was huge. I think all the questions, though, go back to comms. An all-Brazilian team picking up a dude who's only ever played on English-speaking teams. How the hell is that going to work out?
And look, guys, I've been on this earth for 37 years, and I still struggle with Spanish, so I don't know how this guy is going to pull it off.
His wife is a Spanish teacher. He still doesn't speak it.
Exactly. That shows you how challenging it is. But for more on MIBR's roster change, Dryad had an opportunity to catch up with the legend Coach Fraud earlier on.
MIBR has made some pretty significant changes since we last saw them here in Americas, and I'm here with Coach Fraud to talk about them. Fraud, we saw this trade between Naswer and Verno. Can you tell us a little bit of the insight of why this happened?
Well, a little bit of part of we kind of needed to make the change. We felt like it just wasn't working as maybe how we envisioned, but at the same time, we always had interest in someone like Verno. We've rated him very highly,
So it also kind of helped that he became available, and he was someone that we've been really eyeing for a long time. So, you know, it's just a really, really good player becoming available, and he would, you know, fit in, especially with like the playstyle, agents, things like that we're really looking for.
And you talk about eyeing him for quite some time. What are some of the things that Verno brings to the table?
He's just uber talented. I mean, the kid is, for the last several years, he's been viewed as one of the best players in America, at least one of the up-and-coming players ever since he's 16, 17 years old. So now that he's finally 18, able to compete in the franchising, I think he proved himself early on, especially in NRG's off-season, playing really well against international competition. So for us, you know, having someone like that available kind of seems like a no-brainer to just go after him, especially if we can make it happen.
One thing that we need to address, though, is that he is American and he's not Brazilian. So how is the communication looking like? Is it English? Is it Portuguese? What is it?
Yeah. So he took a bunch of classes in Spanish when he was younger, like during school. So he's not a natural Spanish speaker, but at the same time, he does understand it a lot. So when it comes to stuff in the game, like when we talk about like 2 here, 3 here, numbers and stuff, it's exactly the same, the numbers in Portuguese as it is in Spanish. So he has a high level of understanding of what we say, but also we speak English as well. Like all the players, Aspas, Art, even Cortesia, they have fantastic English. Shinam is learning it day by day, but basically we're just going to speak 2 or 3 languages all at once, and it's not going to be an issue because we all understand what each other is saying at the same time, and we don't foresee us having us lose rounds or matches based off of communication.
The full American stream, all 3 languages. We bring it all. I'm excited to see it. Good luck.
Always excellent insight there from Coach Rod. And one thing I do want to say is that he's kind of the difference maker in this situation. Because when you turn to a lot of like, you know, Brazilian teams, Latin American teams, the coaches are typically like, you know, English is not their first language, you know, but yet Fraud can straddle that line between all these different languages, knows Spanish, knows Portuguese, knows English, and can actually connect the dots for these players. That being said, that's out of the game. In the game, that's a different story. I don't know how that's going to work.
I feel like I'm going to believe it when I see it,
yeah,
right?
Same.
He's talking about not expecting issues with having kind of 3 different languages going on at once. Like, there is always going to be minute things that are important in rounds that are lost when you're uncomfortable in a position like that. So I think no matter how confident they feel, the real test is when they're down in their first match and the pressure is really on of how well they can perform, especially considering that, you know, with NRG, Verno was critiqued for maybe not calming as much as he should, being as proactive as he should, at least in NRG's opinion. So big questions there still.
Yeah, those questions we're going to see answered. And we saw these 2 teams facing off against each other during kickoff, right? Yeah. This series went the absolute distance. It's absolute
great game.
Brawl, right? Demon1 versus Aspas on the opposite side. That series was so hyped. Like today, even with the roster changes, everything this series is going to be so good.
Yeah, it is very, very awesome to see what this team can do moving forward. But of course, no matter what language you're speaking, doesn't matter if you're speaking English, Portuguese, Spanish, or Klingon, don't matter, because at the end of the day, Aspas is going to pound you no matter what. He's going to beat you up because he's so damn good.
Dude, I want to see a Valorant team coming in Klingon. That would go crazy.
That'd be amazing, dude. I'd take it any day of the week.
GB, you can coach.
Yeah, I got it. I know a little bit of Klingon and Pig Latin. But in any case, though, yeah, we got Aspas here. And, I mean, look, you're talking about a team that Aspas is on. You're, like, contractually obligated to talk about Aspas. So who wants to take
Do you actually know Pig Latin, though?
A little bit.
Can you toss the next thing in Pig Latin?
Yeah.
Just practice.
Guys, Wyatt wants to talk. Shut up. Go, Wyatt, please.
I mean, I suppose. I mean, what more can you say about this dude? He's the best in the game. He swapped over from the compression white turtleneck to the compression black turtleneck.
Right. Which could be, that's controversial.
And he was wearing glasses. It's a new him. But that being said, much like the old him, he's still going to be one of the best players in the game. Like, this dude is just always the best. And I would like to see what Jajimo said in that interview reign true, that the best Jet players are playing Waylay. Yeah. If we get the random Aspas Waylay debut in match 1, I'm here for it.
Now give me all that in Klingon.
Never mind. Of course, his Leviathan roster had a good showing at kickoff despite losing some key players here as we switch over to their opponents on the other side of the field, Leviathan. And again, this is another one that it's like interesting, right, Andrew? Because this is similar-ish to MIBR in the situation they find themselves in, bringing in fresh blood, a little bit controversial. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of kickoff, it's a little bit different, right? Dropping to MIBR making it all the way to third. But yeah, in terms of bringing in the subs of probably two of the best players in the offseason, right? Like Verno and Rossi are the two guys that were like popping off and then finding themselves without a team in Rossi's case going into kickoff is shocking.
Absolutely. I'm glad that this guy made it into the league. Again, everyone was so high on this guy, rightfully so, after his offseason performance. I think he's going to fit onto this Lev team like a glove. I really do. Just getting right in here, replacing the tank as a second initiator. Both him and Khan together, they cover all of the initiator agents that you want to be playing currently very well. Rossi's played a ton of Breach, which kind of then allows King to focus in on controller, play a lot of Omen, and that's a role where he individually gets to go off.
Yeah,
I really think that this roster is going to be a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, and honestly, they were already not that bad. I think people really looked down on them after how early they dropped out, but it was kind of a fraudulent, like, early round exit. They lost to G2, second best team in the world, and to MIBR, who went on to top 3. And like you were mentioning, crazy close game there.
It was OT.
Yeah, this is already a competitive Lev, but I think now they've already made a clear upgrade, bringing in Rossi.
Yeah, I tell you what, in the start of the show, these two with their Leviathan pick, they didn't have me. I wasn't sure. I didn't know what to do here. But now, I'm a believer. I'm seeing it.
Yeah, hold your horses. They might still get off-bossed. So.
Look at the stats, though. I mean, this guy was insane in the offseason. I think really impressed on his stint with Cloud9, and then Cloud9 went on to very controversially remove him from the team. He was slotting in as the IGL of the roster. It was all kind of shrouded in questions even after the fact.
Yeah, which seems to have at least at the moment been a good decision from Cloud9, because as good as a player can be.
100% win rate this stage.
Exactly. As good as someone is, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to work in your team, and it's not an indictment of Rossi's skill by any means.
Sometimes they don't work out.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, maybe this will just be the best situation for both of them, and I could absolutely see that as the future we're wading into.
All lived happily ever after.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the only one who didn't live happily ever after was Natank, who came over to America for 3 matches and then got shipped back to Europe. It's a really, really tough move for him.
Yeah, you brought us back to reality.
He played 3 matches. They lost to G2 MIBR. He's gone. But Rossi is a player that when you have the opportunity to take him, I don't blame the org for wanting to make that leap.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like what Fraud was saying about Verno, and a similar thing where it's like, hey, you have an opportunity to get this guy, might as well just go for it and see what happens, right? But this was, pretty controversial, right? Cloud9 dropped Rossi. The community, not having it. They were not having it.
Because C9 were playing well.
They were playing well.
Right? And C9 had like the crazy offseason where a bunch of things were going down, but yeah, I don't know. Like with Rossi's individual performance and IGLing a team that was winning.
Did he I don't know, what did he do? I'm really trying to figure that out.
It was crazy. I have never seen so much attention from the community, social media, etc. on Cloud9. But people were outraged, as you're seeing from the
oh my God, C9 were rage baiting by dropping him. That's crazy.
Content kings looking for the rage.
They finally cracked the code on how to get impressions in Valorant. They've done it.
This has been the MO of C9 for a while now.
Yeah, they have a history.
They have a history of this.
Insert dropping Yay 2023. Well,
hey,
I mean,
you know what Leviathan have a history of, though? Signing some big names and then winning. They got Boss last year.
Yeah, they love signing.
They got Demon 1 this year. Now they've got Rossi.
They always sign the Champions MVP of last year, so I'm so excited for 2026 Leviathan Kong to...
All right, well, while we stew on that for a moment here, let's hear what Rossi had to say to Dryad ahead of his America's debut.
Thank you, guys. I'm here with Lev, Rossi. And Rossi, welcome to VCT Americas. What a journey you had to make it here.
Journey indeed.
In the offseason, everybody was talking about C9 Rossi and how good you were. So now they're in this Lev roster. What can we expect from you?
Hopefully more of what I did towards the end with C9.
just good things, and hopefully just more wins and just great things in general.
A lot of great wins. That's what we expect for sure for Lev. Good luck today.
Thank you so much.
A man of few words. A lot of great wins. We just want some great wins, guys. Hey, maybe it could happen. It's going to be a difficult game without a doubt. MIBR and Leviathan have met before, and well, we saw the results of that one in favor of MIBR. So King is going to be on the left side, looking to try and right a wrong as the longest member of this squad. And you know what? We were seeing King do his thing at kickoff, Wyatt. Yeah. It was great to see that King back, the one at lock-in that got up and told the world I have arrived. It's nice to see that guy back again.
Absolutely. He was fantastic in kickoff, and I love when this guy gets to play Omen. That is when he pops off. Just lock it in. Get him in the comfort role. He, despite having to do a lot of the calling for the team as well, it does not affect his individual play.
That's the thing, right? I think King right next to Valorant is like the other like high fragging IGL here in Americas.
And he's also the last remaining member of the original Leviathan that was showing up in 2022 to Copenhagen, Denmark, and to Istanbul, Turkey, and playing really well back then. It's no longer the all LATAM team it once was, but he's still holding things down for this squad. Yeah. He's developed into so much more of a leader since he was initially on this roster and proven to be so adept on a multitude of roles as well. It's great to see him putting up these performances now, like 3-4 years on from when we first saw him doing the same damn thing.
Yeah, it really is impressive. And to see the players, you had noted, Mimi, that growth, not just as a leader, but as an individual in the server, has been really, really cool to see here. But he's got a lot of work ahead of him here, and he's going to need to bring in people like Rossi into the lineup here. And, well, we want to know a little bit more about how this whole thing worked out to begin with. So ahead of Leviathan's Stage 1 debut, we spoke with Rossi about how he ended up on the roster.
After I got cut from C9, I had a couple offers from some teams, not Leviathan, and those quickly fell through just because it was such a short time, so I had to just wait after the kickoff. And Leviathan just wasn't happy with their performance, and that's all I know, truthfully. So they contacted me. They're like, hey, we want you to come here. And I asked, like, oh, do you want me to be like a player, IGL, anything like that? I said, I'm willing to do it, whatever. They said, oh, they want me to be the IGL. So I said, all right, sounds good. And that was it. I tried out for I tried out for the team. They already knew they wanted me because, I mean, I'm a good player, and everyone knows that. So they just know that it's good, and they actually worked out seamlessly, and it's great. It's been great so far.
Did I hear that right? That he's, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so.
That he's IGLing?
I guess so. That's what I heard. Yeah. Did you hear that?
I heard that.
That's what.
Did you hear that?
Did you hear that?
I didn't hear anything.
A little interesting.
I mean, and they're also talking about like Demon One's new role, things like that. So it seems like there's some significant changes outside of just a 1-for-1 swap.
It could also be a psyop. We don't know for sure.
Shenanigans. I'm just saying here. All right, well, guys, look. If there's one thing I know about, it's quality facial hair. So the question that I gotta ask everyone is: does a powerful stash help you win? Because I think Cortesia is making a case. Well, all right, he's making a case. Look at that stash; it's gorgeous. Look at those eyebrows, absolutely bushy.
I won 3 ranked games in a row with Bren last night, so.
Are
those the first 3 games you've ever won with Bren?
Yes, actually.
I've never won a ranked game with him.
Were you playing with Sideshow as he was inting with Waylay?
We weren't playing with Sideshow. We were playing with Dryad, who only plays Reyna, and Reyna was disabled, but she was still great.
Okay, great.
That's totally off topic. Cortesia, though. When we did our time capsule at the beginning of the year, I put this guy in as my predicted Rookie of the Year by the end. And he had a bit of a rocky start at the beginning of kickoff, as did MIBR. But when they made that leadership change, putting Arts in the role instead, I think he really found himself in the lower bracket and was delivering on the promise that he made in the offseason of being one of the best up-and-comers in Americas.
And I think that was a very reasonable pick for the Rookie of the Year. And I think that after kickoff, he was good in kickoff, no doubt, but I think he has a lot more to show still. I think he can continue to really elevate his play from there.
What about you, Ender? What do you think as you Try to keep the mustache betwixt your lips and your nose.
On this, so I can't really move my mouth.
We do want to let everyone know, by the way, part of the reason why Ender's wearing a ridiculous and bad-looking mustache is because we have a little bit of a delay on the stage here, and then once we get that all sorted, we'll be sending it out there, bring out the players, do the whole shebang. You know the deal, folks. You've watched this show a few times, so we got you covered, and once we move forward, we're going to be doing just that. But for now, though, let's actually go back to one of the greatest of all time here. We got Aspas to hear what he has to say about his new teammate, Verno.
My thoughts on Verno, for now, from what I saw, he's a really, really good player. He talks a lot in-game and out-game as well. The guy is just very good at the game, and he talks a lot. He communicates everything. He does some good mid-rounds calls, those stuff. And out-game, he talks a lot as well, so I'm just very happy with him.
What we just ran a video yesterday that said the opposite of what was just said right now. What is the truth, people? I'm being gaslit.
That high school Spanish. It's got
It
him
turns out he
locked
actually didn't speak English this whole time. He is just fluent in Spanish, and that's why if Finesse had been calling in Spanish or Portuguese on NRG, it could have been a different outcome, let's just say.
I will definitely say that whole thing was very interesting.
Both of the shots that we just played have illuminated us to facts we did not previously know.
We really did.
And I appreciate that.
Ender, I'm just not even going to bother.
I appreciate a good fact as well.
All right, guys, as we had mentioned before, a little bit of a delay, but do not sweat it. We're going to be right back with the game in just a little bit, and we'll see you on the other side. What is this? And here are your predictions from the entirety of the Talent squad going into this matchup here. And it's a little bit split. You know, you got a little bit more of a favor for MIBR, but there's still some Leviathan love there, notably from Wyatt and Ender. But Mimi, you went MIBR. Why was that?
It's kind of just history-based about how good they were in kickoff. Aspas' current form, it's hard to predict against them. But honestly, Leviathan was a fraudulent first-round loss. This team should be legit, and I expect this to be close, just like it was the first time.
Is it a number one in the group, Wyatt?
Yes, that is my bold prediction, is that Lev are going to be number one in the group.
I agree.
That's where I'm at with it. And I think MIBR will continue to be very good. But this is the kind of game where they're going to lose 1-2. They're going to look, you know, we're going to walk out thinking, hey, they're not bad. They're still pretty good. But Lev, they're way too good.
Hey, well, you know, I'll tell you one thing, though. We are ready for a good old-fashioned barn burner. So let's send it down to the stage and bring out Leviathan and MIBR. And let's welcome out to the stage our first squad. Put your hands together for Leviathan. And Leviathan here, again, we had talked about it before. There's a lot of love on this desk for this Lev team. They want to see them succeed. Mimi, this is looking, though, like a Leviathan that is prepared and ready to go with these big changes. And we didn't even talk about Khan, by the way, who's always going to be a factor for this squad.
Yeah, everyone was so excited to see this team coming out of the offseason. Aspas on this squad, Calm here as well, or excuse me, Demon 1 here with Calm alongside, getting that duo back together. There's some really amazing duelists in this matchup between Demon One and Ospas, two respective champs, MVPs, going head to head.
You just know this is going to be a good one, right? These two teams walking out there on the stage with all the changes going down, and the sub situation, the new fifths mirroring each other too.
Oh, yeah, but let's go ahead and bring out their opponents. It's MIBR. And out first, though, is the new pickup of Verno leading the charge for the squad, and we'll, of course, see how this play. Well, actually, I stand corrected. Aspas was first. The camera showed me Verno first. Of course, you got to make way for him. But the thing that excites me about this team, guys, is what we saw from them at kickoff. It was great. I want to see more of that, and I cannot wait to see what they iterated on during the break-off.
Yeah, after their, disappointing first match of kickoff, the rookies really stepped up, came into their own on the big stage. It felt like they were able to, wipe off all those early nerves and really be a heavy contender.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how Cortesia has developed. At the end of playoffs, Shannon was really starting to show out with the team, but the intrigue is still around Verno. And how interesting the takes on him from the team are, what we heard before this game versus what we've heard from NRG. Where is he going to land? How good will he be?
Two maps out of back to the pool. We're going to see them both in this series layout. Icebox, the choice of MIBR here, and this has historically been one of Ospas' most dominant maps, right there alongside Ascent.
Well, the thing is, Leviathan were so good at Icebox last year, and it was because of Ospas. This was a map they wanted to go into all the time, so MIBR on the other side. It's no surprise.
Back then they were playing Harbor Viper, teams were still playing Sage, but there's new agents, new changes to old agents as well. So there's a question of, are teams willing to try something different on Icebox? We've seen Yoru there in the past, we've seen Harbor there in the past. There's a ton of options there.
I feel like we're going to see more of the same from MIBR, I'm going to be honest.
They were doing that all kickoff.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a map where that continues to be the case because, as you said, Ospas there, it's just historically been so good, and it's not broken yet. There's no repairs necessary at the moment.
Could you maybe
just keep running it?
Substitute Waylay for Jet?
I mean, that's again, that's what Josh said. Josh said that the best Jets are playing it, so
any jet map, you can sub in Waylay. You're giving up some of the offing for like a slightly better dive on attack.
All right, well, it gets locked in there. King on the Yoru here.
Wow, King on the Yoru, Demon One on the Omen.
Yeah, taking the G2 comp here, but this must be that role change they're talking about.
Well, honestly, though, what I remember from kickoff was like the one map Demon One was on the Brimstone. It was one of his best maps, like outperforming his duelists sometimes.
I'm so here for King not having the IGL. Rossi picks it up and he can just go crazy on duelists. I'm down for it. And now we have MIBR finally going a bit more meta with the Taeho breach.
Well, folks, let's see how it all shakes out and head into our game. We're going to send it over to your casters, the distinguished duo of Riv and Vansili.
Yes, Valorant. Oh, we got a great game coming up ahead for our second one on the day here, MIBR versus Leviathan. And there's a lot of history for all these players here, but what's in front of us now? All this newness, new players, new squads, new agents for who's in the squad is going to be awesome to see.
I don't really care about this rematch thing from kickoff between these two teams anymore. I just want to focus on the roles of Leviathan and also the head-to-heads, because now you don't have this Demon One versus Ospas anymore. King comes back as a duelist from playing a long time ago. The IGL role is going on to Rossi at this point. There's been so many changes going into Leviathan's camp into this game. A very interesting one that we have to look forward into watching the first map on Split. As for MIBR, though, we haven't had a chance to talk about even Verno yet. And we will very soon because the action's already in and the contact's already there.
Right out the gate. Just a few seconds into the round now, we already see this battle towards mid trying to get out. They get the salvo into Vance and Ross.
Let's go la team, we are back again on the split et je ne vois pas le best cypher. Ah si, il y a Cortezo, il s'appelle comment là, voilà, Cortesia qui joue cypher, ouais, mon main sur cette map. Let's go, on est parti pour cette deuxième map.
Util to oppose from MIBR as well as a swing spouse. So now that MIBR comes out on top, though, you see how the defense is kind of thinned out from
Écoute. Il faut que tu fasses la matière, le commentateur.
On est là, pendant mes déranges. On est là.
Léviathan, MIBR, première map, c'est la map à Léviathan, comment commence
En quoi? Léviathan commence en quoi? En défense, MIBR attaque. Mais par contre, il y a un truc que j'ai vu lors de la sélection des persos. Léviathan, Mon One, il joue au main. Alors que de base, c'est un dueliste. Ok, premier point pour MIBR.
Tu as dit Demon One joue Omen, alors que c'est un dueliste. Bon, après, je dis ça, je dis rien, mais on a eu la reconversion aussi de notre grand Ens, qui était un main jet de malade, qui s'est reconverti en contrôleur. Pourquoi? Je sais pas. Peut-être pour le besoin de la team.
Because you're looking over at this series, you're starting off at least with split that they've already played against each other during kickoff that went into this crazy overtime. I think like a 16-14 overall score towards the end. It was also very explosive, but it was also a different look. MIBR played this double duelist, but now they still want to leverage on utility.
Allez, je prends les paris. Je pense que Aspas va ace moi. Je pense qu'à un moment donné, peut-être pas dans cette game, peut-être dans la prochaine, à un moment donné, Aspas va ace. Il a pris une fantôme et le shield. Ça veut dire qu'on la baille la fantôme là même.
Tu dois bailler la fantôme.
On la baille ça. On a pris ça.
Bah après c'est un dueliste. Il faut tout miser sur lui.
Les Africains qui face à Russie là-bas. Ah oui.
No way. Mais non, toi aussi.
MIBR commence fort.
Bien.
MIBR commence très fort. Aspas, tous les regards sont sur lui. Là. Aussi, tu dois carrer. Hein. Tu dois carrer. C'est le... Si je dis pas de conneries, c'est normalement le nouveau support. Tu dois carrer là. Le nouveau joueur de la team Léviathan sur Russie et du côté de MIBR, c'est Bienvenue. Okay. Là, c'est le round sérieux maintenant. Tout le monde a des vandales, tout le monde a des fantômes. Non, là, Aspas, il a l'expo en avant.
Tax and Demon 1 collecting a few of their own kills here as they have a great hold and an understanding of MIBR's strat on this round.
That was such a fast rotate. There's already 5 players within the site of B here. As Leviathan now are just going to try to slow things down for a bit. MIBR, knowing that they're in a losing scenario at least, tries to add a little bit more into the later rounds. Picking up this orb for Artazine, waiting for the second wave here, the fault line to come back potentially to try to re-hit. But you need some hero plays coming out, and thankfully you have Cortesia that's inserted and trying to punish on an overextension, but King wins that fight from backside.
And that's going to be Rossi taking a little bit more pressure.
Wow.
Ce que Venom vient de faire.
La prise de risque de Venom.
So they know his location, a nice retaliation at B from Lev on this round.
Oh!
Il continue sur sa lancée. Nice.
Bien essayé. Anti-Venom.
Strike back here on the bonus round, and they keep quite a few alive.
You already saw from Leviathan some great reactions. Again, Tex being the first contact and dodges all that util for the B heaven right away. And as soon as he does that, look at the retaliation coming back from Leviathan. Easy for them to put the sound down. The flood, the aggression out of
Ah ouais, Zenom est mort. Une manière, wow.
Great call indeed. You saw the patience here from Lev. There was a lot of action, and they were like, wait, we don't need to pressure. And
we're looking to fight here, Riv. We're looking to fight potentially towards A main.
That does force the hand of just Aspas. Forward goes one, so they kind of trade spaces on that. And Demon 1 goes down.
Demon 1 playing controller, but still like a duelist. Unfortunately, couldn't get one. And didn't do that much damage onto MIBR. But that said, though, at least they have the understanding that most of the team on the attack was stacked up on this side over A. So there's an opportunity to now push, gain a little bit more space. You already see the insert of King. There's no TP for him to go back, so he's pretty much on a one and done, unless he wants to say, okay, there's a minute left. The salvos and the fall line should come back up. Maybe I should start falling back, but it doesn't seem to be the case.
Oh, what a risky spot. The one and done.
Nice.
Ils ont pris au moins un kill.
Far swing. Inside sight already, however. Rossi and Tex want to take position right near each other on the bottom side of the site. They do not want to give up any ground here.
Cortesia lurk here on the 1v1.
Always lurking. We saw it at A. Now we'll see it towards mid. How much of a kingpin he's going to be. Takes out Kyle from the top side. Rossi has the one. Shannon peaks.
Et MIBR qui prend ses marques.
Beautiful from MIBR.
Commence à prendre la confiance. Commence à prendre les points.
The fact that they already took down Demon 1 and already met with so much opposition in terms of utility on the A side, they get the pick onto King on B. Technically, you should know that it's an open site. You want to tempo up and rush, but they still wait. They try to delay long enough here to give that perfect timing for Cortesia to come in from top mid and get that backstab onto Com. So very, very nicely ironed out. On the scaling coming out from MIBR.
The speed at which we see Lev just
Go,
being
les gars.
comfortable to get into, I'm sorry, MIBR get into sight and say, yo, this is ours, is pretty incredible right now. Hello. King using that gate crash to get a lot of early info and attack on, but that's a far rotation back over as MIBR now has full control of ramp.
Calm down for a bit, but we'll get free orbs now for MIBR.
Nice, that pass.
Quite easy to step away. A little bit of one-on-one there, spikes down, but should be able to get picked up now for MIBR.
Wow.
Ça se presse.
If they want to get that top side of sight blocked off and run in pretty clean.
Regardez un vidéo sur le spike.
Screens here for Leviathan, taking more of a defensive position. As MIBR, it's the second time they've hit a site and really started to work the map again. We saw it on pistol round because of the chaos, but now we see it here on a gun round too.
MIBR style, you can see that it's still rather explosive, just like it was previously during kickoff, but this time it's just waiting off the refresh. Different approach, but still quite aggressive with the tail. This time the walk contact makes sense. You don't have any drone left for MIBR, and you're just going to play like a pack. And it's perfect. Directly into an open B site, it'll be a nice little plant in. Now for Leviathan, you just try to rotate across, and seeing that a lot of these players are already up and very close to the ults, I wouldn't be opposed to Leviathan wanting to push in and look for some exit kills. Keep the economy low on the side of MIBR and try to fight back, but
Là, ils vont safe.
towards the end of the day,
Ils vont même pas tenter. Ils vont pas faire là du difficile. Ils vont juste safe. Là, c'était un courant pour eux. Ils vont loin là pour prendre les vandales. Ils vont juste safe.
Depending on that push, money's there for Ospas to buy. Verno's still got a gun. They're still gonna, like you said, they're still gonna hang out though. Kills would be nice to see, but they start to back off. Great mid-round calls by Verno. Really resetting the team. If everything is true in the videos that we've been hearing, and now he does have the voice, they've been repositioning for those and just really safe plays. Like you said, walking right around Lev, no problem, and they come out of that round with another win. 4-1 now for MIBR on the attack side split.
Ici, on assiste encore à un match comme celui précédent où l'équipe à qui appartient la map se fait dominer.
Too many successful trades or fights to prevent MIBR in this conditioning that they're doing in the very beginning. It's always very slow contacts. You don't really see him trying to be fairly explosive. So I'd like to see King to be a little bit more active, try to find that early space, but TP where they can stack it to the other spot, because so far for MIBR, if they don't notice where King is, they just kind of go for it.
And he's got it here. The gate crash towards B, checks A. And unfortunately, that's just going to be the dimensional drift. I guess not unfortunately if they can use it here effectively now in the face of MIBR.
They could double flash this and fight at least, because the gate crash has been perfect. The read's been good for King. There's the first contact, but unfortunately Demon 1 falls.
1-for-1, Cosmic Divide goes in. You still have all the initiator utility to make sure the site hit feels good. Armageddon's there for Verno. Well, they don't like how quiet it got so quick, actually.
Yeah.
They back off, so Mail Rune can start creeping in.
And you still have a double lurk from the rookies here of both Cortesia and Shenum trying to close that gap. Splitting up the defense, too.
Nice.
Il reste vers noir AV3. Recule.
Ouais.
Bien, 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 bien.
C'est pas évident.
King qui a failli.
So that's what we're talking about. Trying to find the early information, using a little bit of util. 4-1 setups at the very beginning for Leviathan. Demon 1 has that responsibility to just anchor up the B side, trying to listen for noise and try to delay if he can. That's why he's actually a little bit more aggressive on the peak from the new box, so that he could actually flash back and also throw smokes to allow the rotate to happen. So despite him falling first, it was still a big responsibility for him and allowed King to get into a good spot behind the back of the B site.
Clean shaven King, clean plays coming through. We're seeing it different from him. King, however, with the op now on that Yoru, going to be pushing B main as Aspas brings out the knives to follow that drone through mid. So this may be the main way they try to open this round with Aspas is the spear.
This is a key component to bring that operator out. That has to be the other big win condition for Leviathan, because actually it's a positive against MIBR. The only way to really scan him is from the drone that Vern already used at the very beginning. So this lurk might get punished by Shenum if he wants to overextend. And so far, it's just setting up an astral form for the rest of MIBR to start plowing into the A site.
1-2, a hit backside. You saw the concuss. Shenum's now going to push forward. We saw him just on the edge. King gets one. Gate crash isn't going to bring him too far back. So now MIBR knows they have time to work. It's watching Lev formulate the protocol here to get back into sight. It looks like they're going to give King screens, and everybody's going to work somewhere towards ramp.
I like that they're fighting back, though.
Cortez Inferno, the headshots coming through there. A nice retaliation as the utility finally comes through for the side of Leviathan, but can they continue to follow this up? The Rolling Thunder hits now from Rossi. He gets a 3K. Verno's trying to hide, blind to all high heaven, and Demon 1 finalizes the round for Leviathan.
That was still pretty clean by Verno to be able to turn away from a flash while concussed and still land a shot. But towards the end, the reason why I said I like MIBR fighting back towards the A ramp, they've already identified that King and still towards the B side, has the op, has the dimensional drift, but before they're able to give Leviathan the opportunity to get value out of that, you just don't want to give them a chance to set up. So again, punished here for Shenum. At least they've identified now for the first time that the op does come out. They're going to be a little bit more careful moving into the later rounds. But that was still a nice attempt.
Insane, bro.
That's the hype you need.
I mean, he is the player that put up huge numbers, as Ades mentioned, during the offseason with Cloud9. Beating down some staple names like Fnatic, G2. Yeah, losing in the grand finals versus T1, but still putting great numbers and being on top of the scoreboard in terms of kills.
And that's that voice. We hear Com say, he's kind of just like Boostio, man. He's all about building the team, building himself up. We hear it right there. And it's working for him. 4-3 here as Lev start to fire back a little bit. It's going to be a lower buy on the side of MIBR as they slow this round down.
Yeah, both initiators working together. It looks like they tried to do a little bit of noise at the very beginning here. I think the fault line went towards the B heaven just to try to keep some players isolated and kept towards that B site. So they could all meet up and go for that explosion towards the A site, potentially without the fault line, as you need to tempo up with the lesser weapons that you have. Oh, that's a pick.
Feeling comfortable. Hop right in. So even the low buy, confidence in pushing with the team. They're going to try to go up ramp too. They want to take away as much space from Leviathan and make this uncomfortable as possible, since they know they're fighting against the advantage on left side.
This is tough though. The fight back towards A ramp, it's not planned for them, so the read is actually not the best for MIBR.
They're going to have Heaven smoked out already. This is going to be a tough win. Never mind, they don't have anything. Tex takes that backs with nice shots. And now Cortez
Ils vont diffuse, c'est clair.
with this Vandal. Money's not going to be there.
Cortez ne pouvait rien faire.
And Leviathan don't even lose anyone. This flawless round coming in. A beautiful hit back onto site.
Very good synergy. Something very similar to MIBR is maintaining calm under the pressure for Leviathan. Staying back towards that spawn, protecting the VIP, which is going to be calm. Because the...
Spamming with the Vandal through the smoke!
Basically saying that's what happens if you try, because he just got a nice little shot through the smoke in the wall for the headshot as well, so... Nice little luck coming out of that, but we'll take it. Gives it the player advantage, but just getting back to the point, making sure here that Calm is able to stay alive, use the Armageddon for the retake. That was going to be the first thing for them to flood back. Now at least a drone. Seeing that pressure from King in middle, that might force MIBR to move a little bit more quickly where, again, it's another 4-1 setup. Big responsibility for Demon 1 to try to delay.
Yeah. Plays the smoke for a bit, but plays his life once it goes away. Very smart. They back up to more anchor positions onto A. Lev, very good at having everybody ready for these site takes. Demon 1 wants to peek out. He almost finds the back of one, but Cortezia is able to capture that one before and get the first blood for the side of Lev.
That's tough to do.
Or side of MIBR.
They're still trying to do that crossfire setup, but it's an op with a rifle. King comes out of it with 2 HP, has to TP out, and kind of leaves Demon 1 out on an island. Not his fault, and this is going to make the retake even harder.
Yeah.
Trying to retake with a 2 HP op. Crossfire's already set up.
Screens pushing in now. They're kind of creating that ramp distraction, but it looks like MIBR has their eyes ready, set on the prize. 10 HP for Artson, though. This is a tough task to ask. Shenum now just out of position. The rest of the team on ramp. Like you said, it's going to be tough. Lev now has the sight, and they flipped the script on this. Calm with a 3K.
No time.
That's no defuse, though. Nice delay. Great job by MIBR. Even though they're continuing to lose the team, they're finding a way to take the round.
And Lev now, they're starting to understand, too, the re-wrap of MIBR on the top of the A ramp. So I love that Calm didn't drop down into the site with everybody else, so he can watch that play. Got 2 beautiful kills out of that, but Leviathan's still a little bit too slow on that retake. Again, because of the op. If maybe King got that first pick onto, I think it was Cortezia there, down towards the orb, maybe that would have changed the tempo. But now you talk about good delays coming out from the side of MIBR, too. It continues to be very close and back and forth, just like when they played in Split the last time during kickoff.
And now conditioning towards A. After these last few rounds, looks like MIBR wants to test their hand at B. Setting up with a thought that there'd be a quick push mid. Eyes already from Shenum looking back. King's push up has no effect this round as Cortezia comes up big. And that's the activation button for the side of B as well. Armageddon across 3 members of Leviathan and back of sight. Oh, that somehow gets in front of that one and shuts Aspas down.
And one little thing is just that smoke that didn't allow MIBR to go in. Armageddon kind of split them across, but they still found safe haven, safe passage to even trade out their opponent, or their teammates rather. Making sure they avenge King that died towards the A side and now just resets the round. But the more that we reset here is the second wave of util, the second hit from MIBR, and it looks like they want to re-hit towards this B site, just waiting on, once again, Verno and Artezine, because they don't have flashes to move inside the site this time around.
Quick kill from Demon 1. Yesterday we saw a lot of our Vipers put in the orb there, so that hold wasn't possible, but also the retaliation here from Cortezia gets one, and Texas thinking about everything right now. Switches the angle in an instant and takes another head from MIBR. 3 in the site alone for B, and now Verno calling the shots for himself. Last man standing now. Could still get the spike down now. 10 seconds left. Not a chance, and everything is held.
He's been in scenarios before in challengers, even when he was in a 1-on-3, 1-on-4, and still is able to do beautiful clutches.
Yeah.
But that's on retake plays, pulse plant, holding it through, but now trying to move inside the site where Tex has been really good on that hold in the previous round. He'll think better here to save his weapon for the next round, because the rest of the team should still have a decent vibe following around that. But look at all of his dodge, fully blunted, and still survives to get this kill onto Aspas. And that, again, it's a smoke that came out from Demon 1 and a paranoia that fully hit Aspas that allowed the huge assist to come out here from Demon 1.
Great teamwork. Like we said, the in-play protocols right now that teams are coming up with, incredibly fast. Hard to see everything because it's just happening over the shoulder of players and in the moment. But yeah, right there you get to see how much effect the utility's having here to make the plays. So 5-5 as Lev bring it back up to a tie. King goes ahead with the Outlaw, knowing there'll be low buys on the side of MIBR. So they get a little reprieve in their economy to make sure these purchases can go through till the end of the half.
The first contact now will be Tex. Off Tex, there'll be a lot of initiator util to come through. The recall just to force the hand. Ooh. It actually catches Aspas.
What a combo. What a follow-up. Tex with another 3K6 just in a recent amount of time here between the 2 rounds. And Shenum finally answers back, but not long for this world as the utility continues to pile in and MIBR have nowhere to hide.
Seems like Leviathan wanted to do the surprise play once again out of that one. A call out of Rossi makes sense. If you're looking at the extremities, You have the, or should I say the outlaw from King. No cages really went through. He didn't see anybody cross. Demon1's playing close towards B main, doesn't hear anything. So they should know here for Leviathan that there's a slow scale up towards middle. So they go for the trap play. It works out. Tex just farms players out towards middle. And now Leviathan take the lead.
Rossi's holding his hand. I was like, Tex, all right, calm down, calm down. You're going to check your PC soon. But just follow. I think what Lev identified, Vance, is there any time that they got early info from King peeking, then a gate crash, they push back.
Dance, let me see you twirl.
Wait, is that your bestie?
I ice both of y'all like Gretzky.
Never mind, I was wrong. That wasn't the combo. They were singing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, being able to identify early aggression, just get in the face of MIBR.
And that's the thing.
Has crushed them.
Trying to find him before the refresh of the util, but not this time around. Cortezia's watching that push.
A calm fight here with Verno in mid. They're going to get Artine to come over and help him with King, though, as Calm tries to get one back for the squad. They've traded out so many members of Lev here at the beginning of the round. We're not even onto a minute yet.
Spike down.
Where do you got peek?
Last player
Got
standing.
concussed up hard, still gets the kill, though. Nice retaliation on that Tejo. And it's going to be Tex walking around. MIBR fire back just as hard. Both teams are honestly just on a fuse right now.
Let me see you dance and twirl this time around, Tex, on a 1v4.
Nope.
C'était trop low pour lui.
3 for Cortezia and a lot of 3Ks around the map. People are getting asked to put up some numbers, and they are on these site takes. Awesome star power coming in. Great stuff to see from both of these teams that have made changes coming into stage 1 and still performing.
And I would still respect this from Leviathan in the last round. They've been fairly slow, reactive in the past few rounds. Want to be more active this time around, but just got caught.
We're going to be taking a quick break. Second half of Split after we come back. Don't go anywhere.
Nature sure is full of wonders. Red Bull gives you wings.
The new Red Bull Zero is here. 100% wings with monk fruit extract.
We're back on Split. We're tied at half, and Leviathan will take the attack side to continue on in the map for our first one in this best of 3. Rossi, we've seen hyping up the team on one side. Verno's had the mid-round calls. We're all equal here as we head in.
One thing to remember here for MIBR is they have been really... It's really painful to play against a team like MIBR when they're playing a defense, especially when you see Arzine with Judges, Bucky's playing the mid side and doesn't really give a chance here for the attack to get mid control. That's why looking at this round, Leviathan all grouped up towards B main and just looking to pop at the very beginning, trying to see what util is being answered back here on the side of MIBR. At least they pull out the drone.
Drone back. Drone for drone. Gate crash destroyed. Looks like it's going to be a re-hit, though. Little reset, re-hit. Make sure they clear the backside. Oh, Shenham in that spot gets hit by the salvos right away. And they're going to have this wall to work with. A quick flash through. That's going to be King looking for one. He is traded. Very fast flicks coming through on both sides, and oh my word, rack them up for MIBR. Com's gonna get finished in the corner here, and it's gonna be a double swing. A little work here from Cortez.
Oh my god. OMG, ce casse-passe a fait. Dinguerie.
Site control and fake the B site. They only use the fault line. Second time they use the salvos just to keep Shinum in the back of the site, and they actually catch him off guard and pick him off. But towards the end, look at these picks coming through. We didn't really see where Vernon was coming from. He was coming in from the spawn area while Ospas was fighting towards main. And while he's pushing through, he still has support from Cortezia. Yeah. So the funnies, the buddy system out from MBR, staying aggressive as they are on the defense, continues to shine with this change in terms of composition.
Oh, I love it. Ospas Marshall usually keeps that a few more rounds to see how much work he does with this. Big hit towards A as we get a bit of the heaven clear and just sight hit. A ramp is now controlled by the side of Leviathan.
King made it through. It's such low HP, just walking through the salvos. Yeah, they got him inserted, but to try to get more value than that will be definitely difficult when the camera from Cortezia is actually set up on the top. And with this push, you talked about the Marshall from Ospas towards B main. He's already moved up now towards middle. They know this hit's coming towards the A site.
Yeah, he said, hey guys, everybody cover A.
I also love that he doesn't overextend. Well, Artisan would judge. What we talked about before.
Double in one. What does he have? Slugs in that thing? Good lord! 4 for RT coming through. Cortezia with the medium to long range stinger headshot. Yeah, pick up that judge. Holy moly, what is happening? Just a double on the first one as they start cleaning house. And you're right, the push from Ospas just calming in so much so they could make those early moves to A.
And why he doesn't overextend is just in this moment. If there were too many players coming through and there was actually a trade onto Artisan, then if they escape through...
I'm so good at this game, bro!
Judge against Classic, I'd feel like a god as well. But yeah, just what they're able to do in case there was a fallback towards top vents. We'll hold that thought. There's an attempt to take control towards B main. A push forward as well.
Oh, cover it. They're trying to help out Demon One. It's a scatter. It's chaos here in B main with the salvos trying to be ducked and dodged, and they finally get a few kills through. It does leave Lev worse for wear on that one. And Ospas again with this Marshall still trying to hold up and finish off with some sheriff shots if it does get a tag. The main goal is still B though.
Hit him for the 101 right in the chest, so Tex has to fall back. So that's no more lurk capabilities out for Leviathan. They probably have to regroup at this point, but looks like MIBR potentially wanted to keep fighting. Oh, they're trying to bait it through again. I mean, who cares? He's going to win the fight.
Again, he's so good at this game. All right, pushing around now is Tex. Doing what he can. 49 HP. Watch out, Arts and Sniper Judge here. They're just going to let him hold it. Oh, we get the Vandal. 4K in.
This is amazing to see from Artisan as well. Yes, it's some judge plays, whatnot, but it's just him IGLing. Remember, this roster change coming out from MIBR is they pulled out Nosworth to put Verno in. But it was already a responsibility of Artisan that started the IGLing role after, what, the first series of kickoff. And when you look at his trajectory of what he did in terms of roles since joining MIBR, he went from duelist to sentinels in 2024, and now went into the flex role at the end of 2024, and now he's going into flex and duelist whenever he needs to in 2025. So yeah, being very cerebral right now, having a deep understanding of so many roles within Valorant allows for him to have such a great understanding of this game and great calls as an IGL.
And you have him as well, fragging out of his mind some games. He can be the star player, a player like that to also help train up Cortezia and Shenum as new rookies on the team who were very moldable but already in their own rights. Amazing. Like, it works out so well. And you bring Verno in, who's supposed to be that voice like you were saying. So yeah, there's so much to work with, and we're seeing the crew that's been there for a while still doing great.
And right now, if you're looking even at the results of this map, 9-6 for MIBR, and it's actually even the rookies that are stepping up, mainly Cortezia on his lurks, on moving in with the team. Ospas, Leviathan's has been doing a good job, kind of like shutting him down, not giving him too much value of what he could take on the attack side. But now on the defense, you're starting to see it. He's able to block down some good lanes. Artisan's covering middle every single time. And if you're going to run into this A site, look at that setup. Double trips towards middle. They don't really need to care for middle because they trust Artezine with what he could bring with his util and also his judge slash rifling.
Push towards mid. A lot of util use here, so expect this one to get quiet unless the sight hit proceeds right after this engage towards mid. The shotguns are getting a lot of love this game. King comes up.
Because that allows for you to pick up a rifle left behind by Verno. They're faking the drop as well. And I love this. You're jumping inside the vents, you're picking up the weapons. But unfortunately, I was going to say, maybe they could try to insert a late hit towards the B side. But the early drone coming out here from Com maybe gives the MIBR the indication that he might re-hit back into the B side into a split. So Artezine will be ready for this.
The flash a little late. They thought they could encroach a little bit more on that tri-peak before hitting. Artson says, get away. We don't really have the positioning to hit, so a rolling thunder mid-round will slow down Lev, but that may make them even more hungry for this B site.
Almost felt like they were trying to go for some sort of a double pump.
Yeah.
The fake towards the B site, the pressure and lurk from A.
They salvo towards A, try to sell it, but now they try to take it. That positioning right now by Tex is so good. Creeping around, looks like he made it around that trip in sight too.
They have to check towards the A ramp though. Shinum's in a great spot to surprise some players, and there's only 13 seconds left.
Boom.
Spikes down.
Two. A third one. The shotgun's not going to happen as he tries to hopscotch around the wall. Demon 1 can't make it count, and he knows that Tex is there. We talked about
Demon 1.
Shinum steps up with a 4K.
And that's again some great
Demon 1.
individual play from Shinum. The idea for Leviathan in the pause at the mid-round was just trying to get players inserted. So yeah, even if they had the drone coming in towards the B site and the fake towards A, it's just to try to get value out of Tex that was lurking up. He did
Venom qui fait du sale.
but it never cleared back towards the A ramp, where Shinum knew that the hit potential was going to come back towards from heaven because of the initial pressure that came out from Leviathan. So very nicely done. Making sure that there's no thrifty that came out of Leviathan from the previous round.
And Aspas' Marshall has now turned into an operator that's grown up. Enough kills came in. Just has the big one now.
The evolution.
So now that's back B. They can really focus on the rest of the map. This fight is something perfect now, but King slaps down Verno right away. They continue to take that vent area just ruthlessly.
Artezine, with how he's playing so far, quite okay for him to peek to try to get an info and potentially isolate a 1v1. But now that you still have King inserted into this middle with the ult, it will definitely help them get great information moving into the B site. Spotted the op and they still want to go into it, which is fine.
Yeah, I was going to say they can dimensional drift right up there. Aspas might be forced to play a little bit more of an anchor position, get them to safety. The team should follow this in. Demon 1 smoking from the back. He'll be somewhat of the lurk on this towards mid as they start to plant in B site.
When they do, a Cosmic Divide's available for Shinum. Full kit for Artezine as well on the top of middle because he was never pressured. There's a late lurk coming out from Demon 1 though. This might be the key piece that allows for them to win the round.
Ooh. That timing from Demon 1, so patient. It's almost the same problem we saw Leviathan having when they had the op on retake. It slows everything down, but ooh, just on the right.
He's got the timing.
Cortezia saves Aspas as he runs back with the op. Common team are trying to grab position, see if they can figure out where MIBR is going to be coming out of the woodwork here. And Rossi and the squad just drop MIBR left and right. The operator now left in the scope, left looking. And they have found it, but Aspas still hits the shot. They should go down with the spike here. Yep, and that's going to be Demon 1 getting out alive as he was just a distraction, just that anchor on the play. Another round for Leviathan.
Well, this whole time I was counting on the flank from Demon 1, and you needed to try to delay in the postman for Leviathan, but they were slowly dropping down until Rossi steps up to the plate and just isolates every single player and allows for Leviathan to just stay alive in the fight. Because look at this, people are dying from util. Aftershock onto Tex. And then Rossi, beautiful, head on a swivel. Two nice little kills up towards orange and back sight. And if anything, that allows Demon 1, if anything, to go down to that 1v1 and play the time in his favor.
I think that's one of the things that impressed a lot of people, Vans, was that, you know, Rossi goes from team to team and he's still able to put up even mid to top frag in games.
Fast here as they're trying off the Armageddon to split towards his B site.
Okay, I thought he was shooting blaze for a second. He was even drawing a beautiful picture of someone on the wall. 10-7, we're seeing this round be very aggressive here as teams are trying to equal it out. Leviathan now brings it to 3v3 in the middle of the round. The operator
Je comprends rien à ce qui se passe dans cette game.
MIBR in a tough spot at B, but they make the odds a little bit better.
Le pire, c'est qu'ils ont le spike maintenant.
Cameron's watching towards orange, but the cage comes up. That may allow Kong to pick this through. And again, it's up to him and Demon 1. But even if they try to reset, move back towards the B side, they know to set up, at least for Cortezia, is towards the B side. So if they avoid it and try to go towards A, it's into the op. Very difficult scenario for the last two players of Leviathan. They all got all their bases covered. Even if they walk towards that spawn, MIBR is just counting on this camera to get the info, and there it is. If they push towards that spawn, there's already two players back there for MIBR.
A little ring around the rosy.
Spike planted.
Oh, they split? Oh, I was going to say that tripwire could really mess him up, but taking out Cortezia real quick here leaves Demon 1 in a 2v1, and it's Artzine with the 4K.
Artzine again. This time it wasn't really an attempt to try to surprise players as they're going through the plant with util. To just get the backstab, walk, contact play, go for the trades, and Artzine drops 4 in the round again. Slight mistake coming through from Leviathan, dropping that spike quite early towards the garage when Rossi peaks solo, trying to go for that hero play, duel it up against a player on pillar. And that forces the last timeout of Leviathan. This is also Leviathan's map pick. And for MIBR coming through on this one, I'm quite intrigued to see what will happen on Icebox after, because I would have thought going into this series that a lot of the changes with Vernal coming in this roster, there'll be more compositional changes coming out from MIBR.
Yeah.
But for Leviathan, if they're already pulling this right now on the first map, what can they pull out on Icebox after? That said, though, looking at this time out in the discussion coming out from Mito Pata with the rest of the team of Leviathan, they really need to find ways to stop Artzine on the top middle. I feel like there hasn't been enough pressure coming up on that side to push him through or try to capitalize on it, especially when he's not playing that judge anymore.
We're just seeing outright plays, right? B and mid. We're not seeing second hits. You have the double initiator, early salvo, early fault line, wait for it, use it again, play within the window, not even watch towards A on the lurks unless the whole team's taking ramp or they've gone through vent. So switch it up a bit, right? Give him something else to look at. At least at this point, you're far enough in that I think they've conditioned B quite a bit.
Definitely saw some flashes of that from that pistol round where they scaled a little bit in their initiator util, but this time with the low buy that they have, it may just have to come down to some sort of Hail Mary into this round. Their hero rifle coming out here.
Oh, they're about to be up against a lot of alts too if they just a few kills.
The hero rifle from King is big, so their timeout will revolve around this. There has to be something huge, maybe even a Demon 1 TP, because they have that from available for them. To be figuring out now if they want to TP across, try to jump across the fault line into the A site or the A ramp control.
1-2, gate crash isn't there, so can't follow it as much as they want, but still they're going to get a fault line back at least. Artzine predicting that there would have been a push on ramp with that drone. You can see him helping out from B. So they drone back. Gonna just slow this one down since nobody sees anything, and you see the kind of leaning rotations coming in now from both teams.
Yeah. We're almost to that minute mark, and the only thing we've isolated or identified was a Tejo playing towards the A side. We still don't know where the Cypher is set up for MIBR. So Leviathan's not really out of that frying pan yet. They still have to find the information of where potentially an op could be, where the Cypher is set up. So prodding up towards B heaven is quite smart.
Artzine just on point, even though he takes almost all of his health there, doesn't affect him one bit.
Ooh, Aspas.
Aspas still alive Heaven well. Make sure that lurk from Tex does not have an effect on the map. So this means MIBR can now focus on the rest of the team coming into B.
Wesh.
Demon 1 goes down as Rossi falls quickly after. Eyes on Calm, a flick, and almost Shannon as well. But he cleans it up. The rookie's good for
Round coup par MIBR.
match point on split.
And flashing through, giving their tell that they're moving up towards that B heaven. Yes, it's nice. Off that timeout is what we were talking about. Trying to push against Artisan, who usually positions at that slot towards Mail.
Tu vas où? À la boulangerie.
He's playing at the bottom. On the outside, out in the open, and still wins a duel.
En fait, là, j'ai trop vu la scène en mode Why are you running? Why are you running?
Shinam actually put a battle star down on the ground to start the concuss to split off that hit from Leviathan. So great counter utility coming out from MIBR on the defense.
Here again, just on the other side of the wall towards A. It's always just a straight up fight, it seems, in the beginning. On a hard angle with this op.
Non, Aspas, comment t'as pu rater ça?
That's a rare miss.
Yeah, very rare miss. A quick
Son crosshair était trop proche du mur.
shake up there, and that's a big first blood for Leviathan. Now they have the chance. Can they convert the 5v4 after so many rounds of not being able to hit him? Artsine takes down Tex in the chaos. Trade one back there, but really no movement gained off of that too much. MIBR happy with how this one played out. The lurk into B is going to be huge. What's the call coming in for this Lev team that's trying to get themselves into position? Oh my gosh, Genom from the spot of Artisine last time. They always
Le
have
kill de
something
Zenom était waouh. Wesh, Demon One, ça quand même, c'était ton kill. Là, tu abuses.
Verno drops another one. All these solo kills.
It was a nice try. He tried to TP across, but Verno was already close enough to hear that Demon 1 crossed over that trip.
Lève. Il peut encore Tésia.
He's trying to turn it back. Give some sort of
Le timing derrière.
rolling thunder to stop him, and it's up to Calm now to open up the A site.
Qu'est-ce que je raconte?
Just the indecision there. They wanted to peek together. They wanted to try
Eh ouais.
teamwork. But
MIBR qui clean ce round. Il clean la première map.
blood on that. MIBR takes it back. And from game point, they take the split. 13-7.
You're gonna have to start understanding here that MIBR on split is definitely a strong team. Artisan finishing on the top of the scoreboard and very, very difficult to deal against him. Anywhere he plays, such a good anchor, such great utility coming out from MIBR to answer back onto anything that Leviathan was trying to pull out here on their attack side.
I think we're seeing from this MIBR team too. Well, it's one game. It didn't need to be an Aspas show. That was a team show from MIBR. And when Aspas needed the hits, he got hits. But the rest of the team, Artsine, Shannon, Cortezia, beautiful 3Ks, 4Ks throughout the map. King too. Crazy, or not, sorry, Verno too.
For them to get so many multi-kills so far, it also shows that potentially Leviathan were not as coordinated, moved together to go for these instant trades. So for them to try out with this composition, it was a nice try to have King back into a duelist role that he hasn't played since 2023, comes out with the Yoru, but it definitely didn't shake up MIBR and what they wanted to approach in this game.
All right, we'll be stepping away, but when we come back, GB and the crew will break down map number 1.
strong start for MIBR on Split. And Fraud, we got the chance to talk about the roster changes and things that Verno is bringing to the table. But I want to ask you more specifically about the meta. We just saw the Tejo Breach that you brought on Split for the first time. There's also a Dragon was saying that Aspas is going to be playing the Waylay at some point. So how do you make of this meta and how it is fitting MIBR?
We think it's great. We just didn't really get much practice against that kind of style, those kinds of comps when we were training in Brazil once we made the team. Once we came to NA, we realized early on that we were a little bit behind on the meta, so we just started to focus on our game, our plans, and trying to make some of these drastic changes. We obviously made drastic changes as far as changing our IGL mid-tournament and stuff, but at the end of the day, at least when it comes to compositions and certain things inside the game, it's always good to rely on comfort. Not saying that you should always do that way, but I felt like that was the best way to give us a chance at kickoff, and we're just going in head first, especially after kickoff. We've been practicing really hard at understanding the meta, and you never know what we'll pull out.
I'm excited to see it. Best of luck.
And there you heard Coach Fraud talking about what the potential of this MIBR is, especially after that 13-7 win on Split. MIBR looked good, but the question is, can they close it out on Icebox 2-0? Guys, I mean, let's actually first reflect on what Fraud was saying about how they went to Brazil. They were a little bit behind on the meta, but now that they're here, and it's crazy to think, even when you're behind, you just have so many resources on that team. They're just so good natural gunpowder.
Yeah, and he's talking about that despite the success they had at kickoff, right?
Yeah.
Where they were playing almost all older comps. They weren't really playing any of the Tejo. They were one of the few teams who was behind in that way. But here they've kind of shown their own twist, where they're playing the Breach, the Tejo, some new stuff, but still leaning into comfort, what works for Aspas, and letting him lock the Jet in a pretty unconventional way here on Split.
Yeah, definitely. Interesting that we've now actually seen on back-to-back days star duelists running the Jet with the Tejo Breach on Split, and in both cases, it working really well.
Yeah.
That's not something that we've seen outside of this little moment in time, but it's pretty cool. This was back in the second half, some really impactful rounds that allowed MIBR to really wrangle control of the game later on.
Yeah, it was super back and forth. It was kind of a muddy first half, and let's be honest, this round with the judge is not giving the best case for it to not have been muddy in the second half, but...
I gotta say, after that round, Artson being silly on the comms, from there on out, it really felt like MIBR were just vibing. The game was just coming to them. They were chilling. They were being a little silly. They made it look very effortless in that second half.
I think we also got like a tiny look behind the curtain too in his reaction to that judge round. He's like saying in perfect English, I'm the best player in the game, or something to that effect. So it's clear they're doing some kind of combination, talking in some English, because three of the players who are Brazilians speak the language very well. Shenom's learning it. So thus far, I mean, it just looked on point. It was a very clean second half. They only dropped one round on the defensive side to close out Split.
Yeah, honestly, couldn't have asked for a better showing if you are an MIBR fan. But I do want to check in on the new additions to both teams and how they performed here, right? You got Vossi, combine them together. Rossi and Verno joining up. First thing, we'll start off with Rossi here. Coming into this one, didn't really get, to see much, but there were some moments for Rossi, for sure, Wyatt.
Yeah, he had a couple high-impact rounds here and there. It was the catalyst of some straight-up round wins at times, but no, definitely tough for him to really get in a position where he could try to take over the game, but that's going to happen when you're playing the Breach on the map. It's just a lot more setup, of course.
Verno wasn't absolutely lights out either, but I thought he did his job well, especially on their defensive side. He was in the places he needed to be, had very good util usage on that Tejo, and seemed like he was gelling, having fun on the stage, which I think is one of the biggest things you're asking for when you're introducing a new, pretty young, pretty new player into a very different team culture than what he's experienced in the past.
And I think for both guys, it's a very clear, good fit, right? They're going to get slotted into the thing that they need to do. They're not here to be superstar, do the most amazing things ever. Just get the job done. It seems like so far so good.
I mean, they have Aspas and Demon Ones, but still, like, the expectation for those guys, if you watch the offseason, is greatness, right?
They don't have to worry because you got Aspas and Demon One, and you got some great players on your team. But let's shift over to the Leviathan side. We have Ito Pata standing by to get us ready for map number 2.
Thank you, guys. I'm here with Ito Pata, head of map 2. And Ito, I'm a little confused when it comes to the IGL because I saw King talk about it. I saw Ross saying that he's the IGL. So can you clarify how these roles are working out, not only for the IGLing, but also is Demon 1 going to be in controller? What is going on right now?
I mean, I think Cat's out of the bag right now. Rossi is going to be the IGL for us, and Max is Demon 1 is moving to the smokes role.
So King Duelist.
King Duelist.
Okay, that's good. I mean, we saw a little bit of it, so I'm excited to see it on Icebox. Best of luck.
Okay, so the official word. We saw it there. Rossi is IGLing. King in the Duelist. Mimi, what do you make of this?
Rossi was doing the same thing on Cloud9 during the offseason, had a lot of success in that role there. It is weird because of the history King has. Almost 4 years IGLing for this team, now having to kind of step back and go back to a Duelist he hasn't played in quite a while.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Duelist he's actually going to be playing on Icebox, because I've definitely seen him play a whole lot of Raze in the past, and he was really excellent on that role. Shifting into the Jet would be really strange. Yeah. Do we get the Waylay? Perhaps. I think there's a chance. But yeah, I would be interested to see if he brings the Jet out.
Yeah, we'll find out, folks, because map 2 is coming up next, and we'll see whether or not Leviathan can force that map 3. Take us over to Ascent. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you on the other side.
Thanks for sticking with us. We are back, and we are about to get into map 2. It is Icebox. Will we see some Waylay from any of these teams? It's a consideration. We did just get info, though, figuring out Rossi's got that shot calling in for the squad. They're looking great coming into this first matchup, and we'll see if they can bring that momentum into map 2.
Definitely a lot of big things, big question marks going into the Agent Select for sure, because if you're thinking about what Jogger was mentioning before in his post-game interview, most of the best Jets are currently playing Waylay. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Waylay on this map of Icebox. I feel like this would have been perfect for, you know, players like Aspas or players like Demon 1. Yeah. But that might be squashed now that Demon 1 is now the controller player. But I do respect that of what, you know, Pada was saying before, to have Demon 1 into the controller. This is not unseen territory, right? The Tens has done it before, from a star duelist back into a controller role, doing some great numbers onto that one as well. So now it's just a learning curve for Leviathan, it feels like, from going into this first map of Split 1.
Also, is this King Unleashed, right? No more, doesn't have to shot call, can focus on the shots, can focus on the Yoru again, actually coming in. So it is going to be King on Yoru. We wondered what it would be. Desk didn't feel like it would be Jet, and they were right. That's why they're Desk. Yeah.
So seeing King on this is quite nice. We'll have to see how he's going to develop this Yoru on the map. And now for MIBR, this seems like they've done this before, with the exception of one, I think. Instead of having I think they had a Gecko that they were playing before, but now it's still familiar composition, coming out of MIBR on this map of Icebox. I thought they'd be cooking a little bit more on their side with some Waylay, but at least it's going to be Aspas in the, of course, Jet.
Every time I see a Harbor in a composition, it reflects that it's going to take more teamwork. You play that layering to get into sight. You use the walls, you use the cascades. Verno can double clear or double check with Bolt and with Drone. So it's gonna be a lot of teamwork there, and then moving up. We'll see how Lev layers their tactics, as they are going to be on the attack side first, trying to come out strong here and make a mark on the map. They just lost on Split. Can they heat it up on Icebox?
It's going to get heated right away. 5 players up towards the belt, and here's the action.
Sheriff's go speed by 3 Sheriffs here for Lev. They want the long-range fights. Look at them all up there, trying to trade a few shots in with that 55 damage. Not going to tick in just yet.
The action will calm down for a bit. Yeah, they've lost Artazine in the very beginning for MIBR, but at least Shunnam is still up. So if there's a next wave from Leviathan, the Viper Wall could come through. They could delay even more, and potentially even cancel out this Recon Dart salvo that Common Rossi will try to do.
Almost ahead. Aspas finds another, almost gets the flick. 3v3, but Com is limping into the site with the spike here. High ground is taken over by MIBR. This wall drops and all hell is going to break loose.
The call from Rossi is, do you want to peek off the wall? And it is.
One enemy remaining.
Great trades, great coverage. come on the run.
Yeah, and in the end, getting a plant will be pretty decent here for Leviathan. A silver lining if they could come through and get that plant towards that B site, but Shenum's already hearing it all. By the time he comes across, coming through the orb, he'll be down to 1 HP. Easy tap. Boop. So to look back at the composition for both MIBR and Leviathan, it's nice to see that even Verno goes into the strong suit, into a Silva for this team.
Yeah.
Also is allowed to play a Silva for his team as well. I think he's mentioned also in a conversation with Pedro Romero where, you know, he kind of likes the Tejo because you kind of have to follow up with it with the meta, but he finds the agent not really his strong suit because it's too easy to play. So now you're able to have a Silva and cook up some stuff like he's able to do here on a Silva in the past. So that might be something that might help Leviathan to fight moving forward later on this map of Icebox.
Always love to see what kind of darts Kyle comes up with. The fracture ones are always a pleasure to see here on Icebox. We'll see if we find anything different or new. A little bit of a check down long for MIBR, but it is the whole squad of Leviathan keeping these classics together to see if they can move forward and get a plant down. All this delay from the harbor makes it so much more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, look at how Artazine is just cycling through this. As soon as that cascade comes down, you have the high tide that comes through. He'll have an orb or a second cascade, and if they cross this line and want to use util, then you have the Viper wall. So right now for Leviathan, at least they're just full classics. They're sticking back towards the back of the tower here. I don't know if they're trying to sell a fake from the B side and maybe walk up contact after. Seems to be the case. The recon dart already got popped out here by Com. Counter recon instantly shot off by a classic, so that will not force any rotates from MIBR. And there's a cascade.
It's from like 1 minute and 20 seconds you've seen Harbor utility here at Maze. Now we're down to 30. A pressure cooker hit onto the A site. It's going to really make things tough for King and squad as we see one fall. Demon 1 can trade back a classic shot, but it is just the rest of MIBR peering down here on the heads of the side of Leviathan. A nice cove plant, so they do get that money through at the last second. But how long can they spend in sight is the question.
I don't think too long, and that's why I chuckled a bit. It's just nice to see that they're just able to use Artazine's Cove to get a safe plant to bring some money at least for Leviathan. So 300 across the board, but let's not brush over the fact that Cortesia just had some nice anchoring despite being in an anti-eco. Great positioning, playing around the smokes, playing around his team's smokes, and getting a nice little 4K towards the end. 10 HP to remain.
1 HP, I double teamed him! Where did the bullets go?
Only into the helmet.
I feel like I say the same things in my game. That's crazy. All right, 2-0 here. Can they carry the bonus over? Our team's just going to go with the Sheriff. Seems like that may be a weapon over to somebody else. Actually, just 1,400. So yeah, buys his own and gets the armor through. So just a low buy. Shouldn't hurt him too bad. Lev is going to be looking towards B with an A lurk, though.
Actually doesn't even get armor. I think right now for Artazine is trying to build the economy up so that getting into the later rounds, if Aspas loses an op in the next, he'll be able to afford another one for 2 rounds in a row. But the rest around it, the rifle's still pretty good for MIBR. 2 Bulldogs, rifle for Cortesia, good positioning coming out from Shenum. He'll get he may get punished around here, but looks like with the high tide, that will pull and push the players away, and should have been a free kill. Another rare miss coming out from Aspas.
He's thinking he'd stay, though. He always likes to play that you wouldn't consider that I do this, right? But he is in a one-and-done position. The drone may have actually seen him on the side. Easy dash out so they can set up in an anchor spot. It is the right site choice by Lev.
The good part is that the drone was forced out at belt just to get Aspas away, so they won't be able to use it towards the 410. So they have to move as a group for Leviathan to try to get the plant down.
Oof. Cortesia won't be getting a 3K on this one. He drops first. The rest of MIBR is going to be forced to do the full retake here. And let's see how Lev pushes forward. Com gets on high ground. Doesn't look like anybody's going to be able to get on that rafter. All right. Cascade in, dropping together, just trying to create chaos and break crosshairs, but all the shots are clicking here for the side of Leviathan on the retake. And they just get the last one to hit there on Shenum towards the top side, and that is going to be a bonus round for Lev. They strike back pretty early.
That's what you kind of want from Leviathan for sure. With the results for the first map of Split, They come back with good protocols, good fundamentals too, to have a clean retake, or re-hit rather, towards the A site. Capitalizing on the mistakes coming through like this to move in as this pack mentality. And imagine if you actually did take Tex down.
Yeah.
Cortezia maybe could have stayed alive towards the back of that A site.
They flooded, and I see Aspas is here.
Yeah, I think they have to consider that. I was going to say that Aspas is going to be doing some weird things in this, pushing up. They'll now consider him in a lot of different positions since he's trying to get those first bloods and take Lev off guard.
A good call by Lev to start. Rossi telling the team to focus up towards the A side. Because the op is already up from Aspas. It's at the right spot, or at the wrong spot rather, looking from top yellow. So King will have to try to follow through behind the Owl drone.
Oh no, oh, he threw it in shorts. They're not gonna get that flash to go working. Calm and Demon1 coming up with some quick frags there as they do get out of that kerfuffle. They'll be fine for the situation. The rotation now coming over from Aspas. It's gonna be hard to get the operator back in, and they don't even know it's on the map yet.
The good part about this is Aspas is able to rotate back to what seems to be Leviathan trying to go for that re-hit into the A site. So if he's able to get one or two, this is definitely the call to try to fight back into the site. So Leviathan have to be pristine here. Thankfully, still Salvos and Recon Dart available for that re-hit. Salvos should be going back towards that spawn and screen, and there they are. That should allow safe passage for a plan into the A site.
A nice little combo, as you called it. Just one after the other. Pushing players out, trying to find out where MIBR's defensive positions could be.
That might be it.
Yeah, they have one snake bite for this and not a whole lot of util to get in. The operator's going to be worth way too much.
Especially when the op shot just whiffed and missed King towards that back of dice. That gives a chance here for Leviathan to set up in that split second. The next bullet to go back in the chamber of the op, and you'll see them now just well positioned in the pulse plant. So Leviathan will be able to tie up this game 2-2, and also have already realized now that the op came out early for MIBR. The comp coming out from Leviathan is actually quite nice as well, because you're looking at maybe some teams trying to force up a lot of the meta into the Tejo breach. And sometimes the Tejo breach on this map is very difficult to isolate the op or find the op where it could be. So you need potentially a KO or the Sova to try to knife out, recon out, to identify these long corridors and elevations that Jets could take on the defensive side.
It's so nice to have the Sova here, too, because I feel like Aspas is just going to stand there. Just try to shoot you before KO flash, take the knife, and still be okay with it. Just the kind of player he is. So, yeah, being able to double find him, get him out, play it slow, and even have King work those flashes to get him out of position. They might even have a better idea of how to work around it now that Aspas has the op. So his job may get harder at this point. He's going to stick an A. And see if they can start off right away. They'll give him time to get online with the harbor wall coming out here towards A.
King's already disrespected it though. Ran through because
could
always TP out if he wants. And that's actually a great move because he now realizes that MIBR are not pressuring or not moving up towards the orb.
Yeah. You can almost see he's like, are you on Jenny? Did he do the far peak? Yeah. They're thinking of everything to shut down Aspas right now. Oh. Ping, ping. How? Almost gets him on the second one. A lot of damage. Just look at the side of MIBR chipped away there from Verno and Artisan.
I think it was a flash dart. That's why they couldn't break it. So the double ping almost allowed here to get a couple of kills out. But at least you have some weakened players on the A side for MIBR. Leviathan, though, keeping them at bay towards A. Now focusing towards this B site where Shinam seems to want to play the one and done.
One of our first B hits here. Coming in from the side of Lev. It looks like they just kind of have to dry peek it, whether it's going to be this flasher on the corner. They have one more piece of util. They don't from that side of Tom. Oh my gosh. Just touch and go, touch and go. King finally gets Shenum. They're just asking for fights out in the middle of the site at this point as Rossi's Armageddon drops Cortezia.
Nicely done for Leviathan.
Jeez.
Yeah, Artisan so far just trying to stay alive, protect the op into the next round. Tex lurking through.
He sees a whole slew of people, tries to get away and still runs into Verno in a triple mid-stack. And MIBR still limping around here. Aspas looking for one more shot, but he may actually lose the operator real quick to none other than a Comlurk.
Classic combat timing's good towards the end. It won both. If anything, yes, they lost Verno, but Aspas may now be able to save his operator, knowing that Lev are closing that gap, so he's just trying to make sure he's staying as safe as possible and watches that single angle, trying to take down Calm from that early pick. But overall...
Hunting.
Looks like he should be okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is, here you're looking back to MIBR. We've mentioned these one-and-done positions where they did catch a couple of players of Leviathan, able to get the first shots through, but unfortunately couldn't connect. And due to that, everybody just got punished by the Tejo utility on the attack side coming out from Rossi to allow Leviathan to get this plant, and now the lead in the second map. Off again, the silver lining for MIBR in this round. Trying to get potentially a forward position, as you see now Aspas getting ready to just run through the barrier.
They try to put an aggressive spot too. Spike down, default across the map here, so Lev can feel it out themselves and see what they want to do.
With the Owl drone missing in this position from Shenom, he'll get so much info, a free kill. Oh!
And stunned off, doesn't even have Demon 1 able to clean that up. They hear the close drone as well coming in from MIBR over at A because they're still lurking on that spot. A fast hit towards B now, and MIBR is going to be out of position.
That could have been the biggest kill to start things off here for MIBR to get a round with the much lower buy that they had, but that whiff again from Shenom.
Oh my gosh. They're so much farther ahead. Cortezia not even expecting anyone to be that close. Calm is in the same spot too. They're just able to get these kills quick. Now the recoup. Aspas coming in with the operator again. It always seems too little too late here. They have so much work to do once they get to the site every time. And just delay over delay being layered on this fight.
Exactly. And then Demon 1 still has potentially a lineup with a snake fight later on, but you see this come through. Salvos now, maybe there's nothing left here though. Oh, it's actually a bad plant. You can get behind the wall and defuse it here. Only gets it at half.
And there's the lurk. Demon 1 comes back around. MIBR really forced into that fight. Although a low buy round, they did have lockdown. They had a few things, and lockdown is still iffy to use if you're trying to retake B anyways on a low buy. But still, they went in that really aggressive without a lot of members.
And thankfully, Demon 1 was on that late lurk towards the end, because if that was being stuck and nobody was trying to crunch in.
I'm acting like I'm the GOAT. You don't need to act like that, bro. You are.
Dude, was that Aspas? That looked just like Aspas.
Definitely an Aspas cosplay. He also definitely is the GOAT for many.
Yeah.
But that's quite fun to see. You know, you still have this vibe merchant coming out here from Common at the same time in his conversations with interviewers has been mentioning that Rossi joining this roster is kind of like a mini Boostio.
Yeah,
comes out with
Boostio,
great
right?
vibes, joking around, keeping like the chemistry good and the camaraderie really nice between the camp of Leviathan. So despite them getting like what, no results on the map of Split, they're still staying quite calm, and you're seeing now forcing out the timeout on MIBR's side with how good they've been working around this map of Icebox.
We'll definitely consider, no matter what's happening here, they'll probably vibing over there on that side with the mentalities we've seen so far. MIBR coming off that win on Split, looking for a solution here. The operator again seeming to be slowing them down, but it also could turn the game around if Aspas is the first person to see somebody. It just looks like Lev is really not allowing that and avoiding it at all costs.
And just before we get in, or we got back into the game, you just noticed that Verno was actually very vocal talking to his team. So there's probably something throughout this timeout that he's been reading through to allow here MIBR potentially to get some good defense, and it's potentially now to walk down and take control of middle. And when Aspas takes this, get ready for the extremities.
You can see the harbor wall here for Aspas towards mid, giving them a little bit more safety, because now they back off. They don't fully like the situation, and King is already in the face of everyone at A. Lev is moving so quick on these rounds.
The thing is, though, they've gotten map control, but that's it. There's a lockdown, and you also have a reckoning out coming out from the defense. That's going to have to push them all back.
Shenom gets one. Demon 1 could do a lot of damage here if he's got the right timing. Is he coming around from mid, but watching inside. Verno now scaling the base, but he gets taken down by Com. Oh, goes down into the detained. The shots almost come in from both sides, but everybody's jazz hands at this point for a few more seconds, and we're back to defusing. It's going to be Artisan on the defuse. Colt goes down, and it is Pandemonium in sight. Demon 1's gone down on that flank, and MIBR start to source out the members needed to get this defuse down. It is at half, the fight continues, and it's going to be Aspas to get that last one. Not enough time after all, and they do finally lose that operator.
My God, did it get chaotic indeed in that round.
What the hell?
I feel there was maybe a little bit of a misplay going through because you kind of used the lockdown and the reckoning at the same spots. So already both ults are going to push all the players back towards the extremity where the spike has already been planted. Look at the radius you see from the replay right now. And with that, you're already going to be in an area on the attack side to protect your own lockdown. All that gave once again.
Nice! Let's go! Let's go! Come on, guys!
All that gave so much time for Demon1 once again to wrap around into screens. And
they're expecting it.
I don't think MIBR so far in these scenarios have seen the lurks out of Demon1 and the pulse plants. So Leviathan might still be able to use this as a trump card later on in this half.
Oh, the jockeying for position here at the front of A is so neat to watch. We see the mollies and the shock darts going in to try and hit him at Maze before MIBR pushes through, but they're still making it. The harbor wall for safety. Like, so much is being invested here in the beginning. And it's just a game of inches to see who actually peaks first, and this might be a dry peak here. Whew. Aspas so ready. Oh, and he gets taken out right away. Tex flicks down and up. What the hell, Tex? The shots are incredible from him today.
Verno trying to go for the hero play, but is just going to get pinged out. No players will be dropping down for Leviathan, so that will calm down this high-low stack that was attempted by MIBR. Aspas playing the Jet in this composition, where again, before we started this map, I thought he'd be playing some Waylay, but the advantages is seeing Aspas with the Bladestorm versus Aspas with parting the rivers pretty much.
Yeah.
Parting the seas on the retakes. If you had the Waylay to work with on the ult, I think this fits his playstyle a little bit more in these lower buy scenarios for MIBR.
And we saw the stat on Aspas. What was it? Last time he played crew, he had a 4 KDA on this. I think he was like he had blades every round. He was flying through. We saw him in the spawn side when he was on attack, or the defender spawn when he was on attack. It's much different here. And MIBR still cleaning up a few to try and bring it back into their favor. Artisan has been hot on these shots throughout the game. Going to be enough to take 2 more down, though, with the Vandals they've picked up. Not much time on the spike. Slowly creeping. You can see Shenum wants to save. If Art even had one escape to get, he was going to attempt it. Yeah, Pit's going to be down for a round coming up here at least. MIBR may be able to turn the hand of Lev and which way they want to go, but really nice push and pull, re-hits. They're winning these stalemate fights that eventually break open.
You bring up a good point. I think that's the stalemate. At the very beginning, it's just slow stalls coming out from MIBR because of these high tides during their gun rounds, because of the cascades. We were praising that before on the side of MIBR with what Artisan's been doing. But that doesn't really affect Leviathan too much when you have recon art salvos for the re-hits. At least for now, and also you have King that's able to flash through all of these walls when they want to go for the explosion. But overall, they've done a very good job avoiding and understanding where Aspas is playing early in these rounds.
Whoop, watch your head. Rossi almost gets cooked a little bit. That's a nice kill onto Verno. So a lot of the retake capability of MIBR gone.
Thing is, the pit was being thrown down from the barrels on the side of the generator, so you can't really play top 410 or pipes.
Right.
To reposition yourself here on the defense. So this may give a chance here for Leviathan to pressure back into this pit. Just try to find where the Viper could be playing.
Just missing on the right there. Nice cut out of the pit. 2 lurk towards mid. Very powerful group here moving through. They're going to have a back watch. And somebody moving into the site.
So good.
Look how close they can get to the pit, too. They just walk right in behind. Oh, the spam is perfect. Somebody's going to drop in. That's Shenum still picking up a kill, but Demon1 follows through with the trade, and they have a free site to figure out what they want to do with.
That was just good manipulation of the map there for Leviathan. So much decoys being thrown out in the front of that pit. From the drone to the decoys. Allowing the other 2 players to just lurk around, both Tex and Demon1. And because they've lost Verno so early in that round for MIBR, that was key coming out from Calm in the very beginning to kill him with the Hunter's Fury. Because the responsibility for Verno was to try to not only dart for information at A main, but to drone and find information at the 1 minute mark up towards middle. And losing that key piece on the defense for MIBR allowed Leviathan to have such a beautiful split. And almost we're seeing Aspas every single round.
Yeah.
Yet.
This is the only time he sees people, when they chase him.
Exactly. He's padding some stats with the operator, but getting no real value out of it. And it's not his fault. They're not going against him.
Exactly. That's the thing. They are avoiding him so much, he only gets to play at the end of the round when it doesn't matter. That's insane, Van Silly.
Yeah.
That's crazy. 7-2. All in a row, too, for Leviathan. Off that bonus, they have ran away with the game, and the operator still continues to be used here. MIBR feels like it's the solution for once it gets used. But Lev, it just seems like they have X-ray vision to where Aspas is every time and says, no thank you. We're either forcing you out with util or just going the other way.
Lots of ults available for Leviathan here. They might try to move a little more quickly. Lockdown maybe the first one to start. You can play Armageddon. Lots of util towards the end for the pulse plan. This composition from Leviathan that we're seeing so far. Again, we've seen the display of what it could bring in the pulse plans on that B site earlier on in the half.
Lockdown free site.
No looks like he wants to use it.
Yeah.
No, he's going to let it go. He was backing up for it, but looks like they want to let that go and use it for the retake.
Oh my gosh. Everything in the kitchen sink on this round in sight for Lev. They go ahead and put the pit down on the lockdown. Armageddon's going to slow down the site take as they want to ensure a safe plant and adjustment into defensive positioning. And post plant. Oh my word. However, looking good so far. 5v4. Can they keep it going? MIBR to stop the bleeding with this round. There's a lot to be done still. Artsin makes a better case for it, though, with another kill. Comes very low on this one. Cortesia. Here's one. Cool. Demon one finding Artsin in the site.
Last player standing.
They're all so close, but somehow it's taking so long to get the final kill onto Demon one. He is dancing. He is dodging, and MIBR are able to get it. Yeah, that's going to be enough time. That's not a fast ping just yet. Up to half. They are going to give that over to Verno to try and stack the ultimate, and MIBR get the calls, get the comms, and get the site take.
Yeah, great job by Verno towards the end. Using the Hunter's Fury not to stop the lockdown, but to actually not allow Leviathan to get the plant in. That gives a chance now for MIBR to start flooding through because you're forcing out so many early ults and not be able to use it for the pulse plant. Don't tell me that was going to be the winning thing that does allow Calm to lurk. But yeah, just being able to do that and then having MIBR using the elevation, knowing that the pit was staying quite low towards that jail. Artsin just drops in with the rest of the team to try to close up onto Demon 1.
See Fried cleaning the sweat off. He's like, all right, we're doing it. We're coming back now. They are sweating this one out for sure with the power that Lev's been hitting with. If they can find a way through A site again, they make it difficult. And now they've been keeping Tex and Demon 1 together more so in mid as they get this first initial encroach. Tex is so fast on the flicks today.
Survives at 30 HP. Drone to find info. It actually does see comms, so that might allow here MIBR to just stay put towards the A site. All of them playing and leaving Aspas solo towards B because of this op.
Right here.
With how Leviathan's been playing so far, I wouldn't be surprised if we hit and finish towards the A side again.
You're not wrong. It's such a good insert there with Rossi. And you see Tex moving in, keeping that turret alive towards mid, so the flank is double watched. I think they drone and they throw a
and he's got TP
right?
towards spawn, exactly. So he'll probably grab Orb first or something, just try to make sure that Aspas is going to hear it. And there you go, TP's out. Again, we talk about these walls that are always available from MIBR, but you got salvos and everything else to try to hit back, and flashes to counter flash to the walls.
Oh, Artsin takes a very vulnerable position here after being vulnerable himself, but they're not going to expect it. Oh, he gets the 3K collide on Common Demon 1 in the end, and that is going to be a big turnaround. The rotation now to come over 1v1, but it's not going to be enough. Beautifully done here MIBR able to string it out.
A huge kill coming out from Verno towards the end. Yes, it was a very big 3K that happened first, so a little bit of a misstep coming out from Leviathan by not clearing behind that wall in front of Jenny. So after getting this 3K though, there was a beautiful high-low, or at least 1 on the 410. That was Tex trying to watch the player, trying to plant down and cover his back. But Verno swings out to get the kill. If not, the plat was going down and would have a 1v1 where Aspas will have to play with an op retake. And thankfully that salvages the round here for MIBR. Changing the pace here, Leviathan going with the dimensional drift flash now to take control of this B site.
Boy, he's holding. Oh, he's gonna stay. Oh, okay, he doesn't stay. I'll say that's a real risky play. They go all the way through, and I think last round what we've been waiting to see is for MIBR's rifles, the things in A, to actually stop Lev, to not need that B rotation over. And here, with Lev choosing the lower numbers again, the softer site, they may just get it. Nice delay.
Oh, they're actually using the reckoning for the delay for sure.
Oh. Trade back slows things down. Coming in from screens, the double play here. Verno just with shock darts. They've already used the find for the site. But Artson does have the walls to kind of get them a little bit of an entry in if they can layer themselves forward.
For Leviathan, they don't have their own wall to walk through. So Aspas is in a good spot to watch the cross.
30 seconds left.
He'll be the first point of contact, and Narzine has to play the hero after if they're able to cross over the first shot that's about to ring.
Rossi just got salvos back. That's going to initiate the window they want to get in. Oh, Verno, eyes high, hits the 410 shot immediately, but Aspas is pushed back as he did not have an angle on anybody during the action. Everyone bearing down on him. Alert bot to give up his spot here. And he will not be able to buy an operator coming into the next round. It is half anyways at 8-4. And what a half from Lev it was.
That's the beauty again of Leviathan with how good this Tejo is going into the meta. By not having any smokes, but staying patient enough, knowing that he still had enough time to use his salvos to push these, at least the op out of position. And Artazine had to land those shots in the back to give him a chance, but they didn't, and now they have a great start for Leviathan in the second half.
Very aggressive attack side coming in from Leviathan. Can MIBR answer back after the break? We are back. Thank you so much for joining us again. MIBR will now attempt to come back and take it in two, but Lev, very much so, looking like they're going to push us all the way to Ascent, a map 3 here in our second series of the day. And it has been a stark difference for both teams, from Split and how MIBR played to now Lev waking up very much so for Icebox.
I think, again, this composition will continue to look fairly good for Leviathan on the defense. They have great ways to fight against the double wall coming out from MIBR, who are looking to start here towards this A site. All 5 of them to kick things off. Thankfully, though, for Leviathan, or at least for MIBR, we are playing soft side over towards A. Texas all the way towards the back under the rafter, and they are trying to tempo up out of this. So there should be a plant coming out here for MIBR, but a triple flank is what's going to be the key component for Leviathan in this round of the pistol.
Okay, Tex. Just tears a head off in sight as they jump up, I believe, onto that top part. Spikes down. A quick check back before everybody comes through, but that whole lurk is coming back around through mid.
They've kept two players all the way back for MIBR, and MIBR doesn't have the composition to play the pulse plant delay, so Leviathan flooding back. Cortezia has to come up huge with Aspas in here.
All right, displacement goes through. They got to wait for this decay to come back up. All 5 members of Lev in sight, healthy and ready. They have a flash now from King. They need to get a little bit more room. Oh, the teamwork. They're just setting up walls of pistols here to retake, but Aspas and Shenum fire back. Oh my God, Aspas, he does it! 4K for Aspas. Wakes up with the Red Bull clutch.
What a round by Aspas. At the very beginning when it was peeking out towards that belt, I was like, okay, that's one bullet, only a body shot, the other ones are missing. Caught in the reload as well. But as soon as he gets a new chamber, those were not shooting blanks. And he gets the Red Bull clutch here to save the pistol for MIBR.
One enemy remaining.
Oh. That'll start to spark some things here for MIBR, especially for Aspas. Been waiting to see that for both games right now in the series, but it's good to see MIBR be able to frag without him as well.
Double rifle, sorry, triple rifle for MIBR in this second round. Anti-eco. Heavy lean towards the B site where there's actually 4 players for Leviathan ready to fight back with Util.
Kind of toying with that, taking a little bit of time to take him out, but they still grab 2 at yellow. Tex with 3 headshots off the Sheriff. Had one last round as well. Not messing around on that defensive side.
Just nice to see Tex back on the stage here for the stage 1, because he is always so hot with that Sheriff.
Incredible stuff. Com should be able to find an upgrade here on the way in too. Oh, doesn't even give it up just yet. He wants the positioning. And there's Shenum. The Vandals being brought in. Quickly close out the round.
Yeah, the play wasn't really around Tex getting that 3K with the Sheriff. The first thing was trying to help Demon 1 at yellow. There was a flash from the back of the Viper wall on the attack side from King to allow here Demon 1 to get this position and hopefully push up forward to get a pick. But after that, unfortunately, all the players are falling down towards that right side. But what nice anchoring coming out from Tex. Still turns out to be a round for MIBR, though.
I hate to fucking break it to you.
It happens like that sometimes. It happens. All right. Cascade pressure from MIBR towards A here. So they start showing themselves early at both sites on this half. Just to give Leviathan an idea that the whole map is going to be used for this half.
Yeah, despite losing 3 players within that previous round, still 3 rifles in the bonus, and it starts off well with this lure from Shenum.
Quick push towards mid. That is not a timing I think anybody expected, and MIBR is working off that cut so fast right now as they quickly get a site, and it looks like Lev is just going to go ahead and either save these guns or look for the most extreme exits.
Definitely have to save. Look at the money that's left behind by Com and Demon 1. Even Tex is bought all the way down to 0. Yeah, you have to save this right now, so Aspas is definitely going on a hunt. They're closing that gap. Shenum, beautiful lurk in the beginning of this round.
Oof. We'll see if Verno's calls as well continue to push and pull Lev around. We saw that on Split quite a bit. The mid-round calls were so good for him and the rest of the squad. Hello. Just a quick tap on the shoulder. Oh, beautiful. Nice side steps there.
And that's a bonus round that you definitely want. It was supposed to be weaker because of those weapons they lost in that round number 2 of this half, but it still turns out, again, a beautiful lurk from Shenum. The first opening that he gets there forces the hand of the players of Leviathan to double up towards Rafters, so you can't really hide or run anywhere unless you want to fall back and play the retake. They opted to stay on top of Rafters, and it was just too many players from MIBR for them to deal with. And now for this round, at least they have the right read to have 4 players stacked up towards this right side.
Oh, chasing Aspas, still trying to get in that jail spot, and they put him in one. King takes him out. And they start to push forward a little bit on that defensive side to say, you don't get free space right away every round. That's just not the game.
At least that util being used really allows Kane to get these nice little forward position and break the timing of MIBR jumping up on the belts. So maybe in the later rounds when they do have rifles, you might be able to see that again here. That seemed to have caught MIBR off guard a bit. Although no recon was thrown, I think, by Verno at the beginning, which is how King got that timing.
Right.
I suggest you move.
Wow. Reckoning invested?
Yeah, Reckoning invested, and they're quite inside the site. Leviathan being thrown left and right with that. Not understanding which position to play in, and it was only in front of Shenam's crosshair that they found where they could hide. What a push through. Taking more space, encroaching into areas. MIBR is suffocating Leviathan right now.
Maybe Shenam or Cortezia. Yeah, definitely. I love that.
Jeez.
A 4K for Shenam, and that's a selfless play coming out from Verno, not to allow Shenam to get the 4K, but mostly activate to get the Viper spin in this round. So big respect here given by MIBR to use a Reckoning to find the information to allow Shenam in the first place to get the triple kill on the entry right over here. Now you have double ults to work with for MIBR in the next round.
Oh, Ito's got to be, you mean see him smacking the desk a bit, but watching 3 of your players almost swing on each other to try and retake that site. It's definitely not what you practice. It's a little bit of chaos here. Now MIBR has quickly brought this back to 8 and 8, Vansili. Aspas getting towards that top of the list, but Shenam up there too.
Definitely, and I do respect Ito Pada being angry in this moment, but this you have to also understand this was an eco coming out from Leviathan the round before. So the Reckoning being invested, you can't really play fall back and flood back into the site here for Leviathan. You know that Tex has been very good in the shares from that pistol round, so why not try to attempt to at least try to get the trade-off onto Shenam? And unfortunately, you know, he kind of swung out one by one, which maybe was the reason why he got angry, but I still like the play here that Leviathan tried to do to prevent Shenam or even MIBR to move inside A.
I would love to see more trickery from King. We're getting a pretty, well, peak with gate crash and then I'll get out kind of stuff. He's not pressuring MIBR. He's not saying, oh, my Yoru's really going to cause you chaos in the middle of the round and make your strategy sweat. We're kind of seeing King play reactive.
So off this timeout, at least Texas all set up here towards this A site, so they are reading that the MIBR should be trying to get a pit towards this A site. So they'll try to delay it and maybe force the Viper outside of our position. We saw this early TP coming through already from King to support towards this B site, so it ends up not being the bestest of plays for now, but at least a second TP allows for him to move back when the hit now comes through by MIBR.
Just trying to cover the whole map and be there with the squad. Tex missing the second one, so MIBR now broken the site once again. This is where they become deadly, but Leviathan is trying to hold their ground. They just cannot. How are they not taking out one member at a time?
My God.
It's another high-low double kill coming in for MIBR to wipe the site.
Well, what can you do now when these players are feeling hot for MIBR? You've talked about so many flakes happening through in the past. Yes, a couple in from Tex, but mainly coming out from MIBR in the second half. And Tex already dying in the very beginning. It's just unfortunate. Yes, he gets a nice pick to take down Aspas, but we talked about the delay that he could have had with a Nanostorm and Alarm Bot. And it just didn't give a chance here for Leviathan to answer back as soon as Tex fell down. Now in the post planet delay, it comes down to Demon 1 on the flank.
Wow.
Last player standing.
Just to ensure it.
It'll just come down to Demon 1, and I think that's going to be the decision to save. Didn't wait long enough for the player of Leviathan to push out from the spawn into the top of the site, easily caught off. And unfortunate there. I guess a little bit of a miscomm coming through. Now MIBR on the attack side will take the lead in this game. And even in the series, remember, this was a 13-7 first half, or first map rather, on split on Leviathan's map pick. And now you're starting to see that icebox for MIBR seems to have the stronger suit on the attack side with what they're doing from slicing out the map here with the high tides out from Artazine.
It was like seeing these shots. Dude. I'm kind of looking on the map too. It's like, are we not seeing kind of what Lev is if they're on Raptors and lower? How many people are behind them on elevation and then on the ground from MIBR, right? They also have a lot of shots to hit. And for MIBR, it's right in front, high, low. So the distraction MIBR is creating on these site takes is just causing that indecision in Lev's shots. Who do they shoot? Which high, low? There's just so many options because MIBR is moving so damn quick.
One suppressed.
Drone actually spotted the Viper, and they know that there was an updraft coming out from MIBR on the top. People trying to find a timing, but protected by Artazine.
I think that's what we're seeing altogether. The protection here, the cooperation being played. As I say that though, Lev strike back exactly what they need this round on that low buy. If they can collect any of these weapons, it would be such a boon. Spike goes down, and it's going to be that much tougher to get this round in their favor.
And they might invest this. I was going to say they have 3 ults to work with. Now the Dimensional Drift could help the Hunter's Fury from Calm, and you're hoping to get a pick here.
They got text that Vandal. See if he can move in. He is coming in through mid right now. And they start using the Hunter's Fury on one. Just a quick tag onto Artazine. They're not able to get another one as Verno fires through the ult. And now Tex still in the chase of Cortezia. Spike ticking low. This is going to be tough. It's just for the kills now.
What happened? They're doing such a great job to run that clock down. And yeah, I mean, again, it almost looked like Calm was more ready for a recon towards main than trying to get the Hunter's Fury ready to try to get a pick off the Dimensional Drift. So I feel, again, just a second round of miscommunication coming out from Leviathan. Dropping down Cortezia inside that B site would have given that space to allow here King to get that forward position back into sight outside of Dimensional Drift.
Yeah.
Then start moving as a group. Recon Dart to fight back towards yellow. But unfortunately, it was just too much utility being used, and MIBR was just able to dance through all of that. Verno winning a key fight. And now you're gambling for a push. A silent walk-up on a defense with rifles for Leviathan.
And this is going to be a pivotal round here. 10-8. This is Lev. They're using all that money they have right now. Armageddon comes out. It's going to be a quick kill under pressure coming in. King and Calm do get one, but they trade 2 back as well as MIBR. Pushing that to 3 kills to take the advantage.
And now there's a big lurk coming out here. They already spot one. Yeah, the headshot. Ross is low on HP. But if Demon 1 is coming through and cuts across and gets a pick, I mean, the timing is still out for Shenna. We were talking about some great lurks coming out from Cortezia on split. This time is a second rookie flexing in here into this Viper.
He's looking so confident too. Ready to take this on all by himself in spawn. And Calm exactly what he sees. Let's see what the trigger or discipline is here.
You got Recon Dart about to be thrown out here by Verno. That will definitely help Shenna. He's already got the first one. And picks the second.
Yep. Wow. Beautifully done. The team in sight waiting. We can see it clearly on the mini-map, and MIBR is following through 100% with what they need to do each round. No mistakes almost.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, the second half, no mistakes at all. So, yeah, that is 100%.
Great half, no notes.
Yeah. Seriously, like, how do you stop this? How do you get back? There's just such a separation in the comms right now. It feels like how they're organizing around in the in-round protocols that are being called to take the advantage.
And you have to, again, look back at what Leviathan's been doing here towards these changes, but we're going to hold that for a bit. There's no timeouts. We continue with the action. There's an aggressive push coming out from King from the drone of Calm in the very beginning. They are trying to pinch very early, but a double ult coming through. Hunter's here to drop here. The lockdown being used. I mean, it's a plethora of ults on both ends. And it's won this time by MIBR, who will get a safe plant on the A site.
Game point on the other end of this round. 5 members still to come in. It's going to be a little late here from Demon 1 as they were waiting to see if it was a ruse once again.
And Leviathan forced into this round.
Oh. Still find the kills. The backup just is there with Demon 1. Does get there in time. Viper v Viper now. The rookie versus the world champion. bites down. He's trying to pull this out and just get the fake shots. Try to find where the Vandal is outside the smoke. Shenum is in hell. Shenum gets the headshot and takes down Demon 1 to put MIBR on game point.
And that's going to give you even more confidence into this game. And maybe even in the further weeks for MIBR, for Shenum to win a 1v1 against one of the best players in the world of Demon 1, changing roles into this one, even staying cool under the pit to be able to win this and put MIBR at series point.
What a confidence builder here for the rookie throughout this Icebox match. Playing a lot of the flanks, getting confidence from his team to make these plays. And then taking down that 1v1 clutch. It is going to be a live timeout here as they get some final words in. If MIBR can push us over this last round and take the series 2-0.
Yeah. And the point I wanted to bring up earlier on, talking about this miscomms and missynergy coming out from Leviathan, this was also something that was addressed by Leviathan when they got eliminated from kickoff at just outside of 4th place, missing that extra point. Dropping a tank, bringing in Rossi allows for them to have a better chemistry and synergy, but I do understand how it looks chaotic in these comms for now because they have changed so many roles. So at least for now, from what I understand or from what I'm seeing here from this series, it's a marathon, not a sprint for Leviathan, at least for now.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of Valorant to play and opportunities to pull through. As you remember, this is a roster that's, gotten 4th place at Champs, won split 2 of Americas last year, and had not the best starts, even getting grouped towards kickoff of last year. So Leviathan could definitely turn it around. But at least for now, in this present moment off this timeout, is how the hell do you stop MIBR on these aggressive pushes on the A site? And they're stacking all their players on the side, but MIBR has done such good conditioning here that they're now choosing towards the weak site to hit towards B.
Wild stuff. Really great calls by Verno here to bring it back from down in rounds at the half. Now 12-8. And like you said, working off that A conditioning as they now go B here. Soft site's going to be had. It's a little detected by Demon 1 just on the timing. He's trying to play delay, and they have moved accordingly. Lev is here to defend. This is their best chance here at keeping the game going.
This recon dart could be huge here. He'll get a few pings, but man, it might be on fights.
That's insane. Somebody pulls a trigger and 3 people die on the side of Lev as the action begins. That's how quick MIBR is trading each other, swinging together, and just playing off one another here. That's going to be Tex and King trying to get back to Guardians to save the day.
Doing all of this without flashes as well. So there are protocols to come through from MIBR to try to get the best value out of trades. And the chances are looking very thin for the last 2 players of Leviathan and for the roster as a whole.
Pinged on that too. Nothing working in their favor here. Nice shock dart though. Tex takes a little bit of damage on that one. It's going to be the wall just hitting him for vulnerability, but the win is there. MIBR with the kills come through. A comeback on map 2 and a 2-0 series to close out the day.
And it's nice to see Aspas closing this out for MIBR with 2 nice outlaw kills. So a little bit quiet on that first half, but when he took the attack, he took the matter into his own hands. And MIBR once again have a great start going into this split 1 against a very strong team of Leviathan. There was some good flash in the pan from what we saw from Leviathan with Rossi coming in as the IGL for a split. But overall here, MIBR definitely did come prepared, and even if they didn't come prepared to come up against the compositions that Leviathan could come with, they've adapted well on the fly.
For sure. Fantastic match.
Et bah, le Turc l'avait dit que ça devait se terminer en 2-0. MIBR qui a carré avec Aspas, c'était prévisible. Malheureusement ou heureusement, je ne sais pas ce que je devrais dire, on n'a pas vu Zachi parce qu'apparemment Zachi a rejoint MIBR. Mais on verra bien. Peut-être c'est le 6e membre, le joueur fantôme, le Kuroko de la team. Mais on verra bien ce que ça va donner d'ici là. Fin de la seconde journée des VCT. On espère vous revoir très prochainement. Demain, je pense qu'il y a match. Mais s'il y a match, ne vous en faites pas. Inch'Allah, on sera là. Sur ce, je vous laisse. Je vous dis bonne soirée et à demain.